Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another Deadline stream. Hope you are doing well. Let me know where you're tuning in from and let me know what you are doing right now as well. And we have a big one. This has been the game week we've been looking at for a little while now. Game week 24. We've been talking about time and time again. And we're finally here. I can just hear Pickle talking to my Alexa there. I was like, who's she talking to? Hello, bro. Good morning from Romania. Good morning to you in Romania. Fun fact for you, Romania have a lot of holy poles. Did you know that? Maybe you didn't. Oh, I can hear my own Deadline stream being played back. I was like, I can hear someone in the background that sounds like me, and I had my Deadline stream on my phone, and I was like, that was really creepy. Glad you're all good. I am well, thank you, my friend. Yeah, good to be here. I feel so much more awake than normal. Like, the normal Deadline streams that start at 9, I am just, like, not fully there, because I probably wake up at, like, 8, so I've only been awake for an hour, whereas today I've been awake for 2.5 hours, so I just feel so much more awake for the later deadlines. And also, I've actually had some food, so I'm not starving. I don't really love breakfast, so I need to wait a good, like, hour after waking up to eat for me. Otherwise, it just doesn't... I don't feel very good. In fact, like, I would say 6 out of 7 days of the week, I don't have any food until, like, 1 p.m. Not because I'm necessarily trying to lose weight, although I am trying to lose weight, but not necessarily because of that. But I just don't like eating breakfast, really. So, anyway, long story short, because it's a later deadline, I was able to have some food before the deadline. Are you playing the wild card? No wild card being played for me. I'm going to leave it as is, I think. I've decided not to. Good morning, Nana Raptor, and good morning, Mama Raptor as well. Thank you for being here. Absolute legends. Always very timely. Always on time. Hello, Ross. Going to put your stream on in the background whilst I finish making slides for my class. What lecture is that, Marquise? Marquise? Mark? I'm just going to call you Mark, even though that's not your name. I personally can't function without my eggs. I actually had egg and avo from Pret. If you've not had the egg and avo baguettes, they're fantastic. And I've got a little latte here that I will be sipping on. This stream is not sponsored by Pret. But if Pret wanted to sponsor a stream, I obviously wouldn't say no to that. You know? That's what I'm saying. If any coffee companies want to sponsor my videos, I'm down. Do love a good coffee. If you're watching this thinking, yeah, I know a guy that knows a guy about coffee, hit me up. Tarkovsky or Anderson benching headache. That's a tough one. I'd start Tark and I'd bench Anderson. They're both good for DEFCON, but I just think clean sheet potential probably slightly higher for Tarkovsky, you'd say. If you haven't seen my content throughout the week, I was debating very hard whether or not to play the wildcard or not. I think I've decided not to. I've made 3 transfers. So I sold... who did I sell? I sold Ekatike for Creepy, which gave me the funds to do Enzo in for Soboslai and Bruno in for Foden. So what my plan is right now, because I've got 3.5... You might be looking at that team thinking, that team stinks, but it does have 3.5 million in the bank. So my plan is to probably do... I think Garner's better than Lafayette, but he's also more expensive. So if I want Mbermo, it would look something like this, I think, which would free up the money to then go and get Chalobah. Oh, no, it doesn't, does it? I think I've got to get Rodgers rather than Mbermo. I don't mind Morgan Rodgers, by the way, but I do really like Brian Mbermo. But something like that gives me the money to go and get either Munoz for Hull, or it allows me to go and get Chalobah for Hull. And I think I'll see how Munoz gets on, but if he doesn't impress me, it'll probably be Chalobah. So the team could look something like that for Game Week 25. Rodgers in for 26. So Rodgers in next week. And then the week after, I'd go and get Chalobah. Although I suppose there is part of me that is tempted to just take a hit next week and buy Chalobah. But Anderson's got Everton at home. Rodon's got Forest at home. And next week, Lewis Hall has Brentford at home. So I actually think next week I'm pretty sorted. My gut instinct tells me go and get Munoz, like my heart. But my brain says probably Chalobah's more likely to return over the next few weeks. I don't like Saka due to the minutes. I don't think Saka's a great pick nowadays, but I don't mind having him. Like, I wouldn't have him on a wild card, but I don't mind keeping him. Torn on whether to start Soboslai or Krupi. Leaning Krupi because Soboslai might play right back today. I don't think Soboslai will play right back, personally. I think he'll play in the 10. If I still had Soboslai, I would start Soboslai ahead of Krupi personally, but I understand that that is a close one. Roll and have 2 free transfers next week, or Ekatike to João Pedro, or Gordon to KDH, and VVD to Gabriel -4. Ekatike to João Pedro, or Gordon to KDH, and VVD to Gabriel. I think... Oh, that's a tough one. I think you can wait. Like, chances are Gabriel probably will return, but I don't think Van Dijk got 3 assists in the Champions League, and he's been decent from set pieces, and I think Ekatike will be decent this week. Gordon's not great, but that game could be very high scoring. I've got it listed as 2-2, I think, on my prediction, so I don't hate the idea of having to keep Ekatike, Gordon, and VVD for one more game and hoping for some stuff. The other issue I have is that I'd probably prefer the Ekatike to João Pedro move, but I'm not convinced João Pedro and Enzo start this one. I'm a little bit worried having bought Enzo myself. FPL Turtle says, my little exotic monk, bench boost, Dubravka, Esteve, VDV, Van der Ven, and Mane. No. Simply just because you're very reliant on a Burnley clean sheet, which I wouldn't predict will happen away from home at the Stadium of Light. And then VDV is a slight doubt. And also plays against Man City. If that's VVD, slightly better, but probably still no. Start Gordon or Krupi? I would be tempted to still start Anthony Gordon. I really hope Krupi's on penalties, but I don't think he is. You know? I think it's actually Evan Nilsson, but lots of people seem to think it could be Krupi, so we would take that if we were to get a pen. He'll probably miss it, knowing my luck. With penalties, that is. I'm not saying I'm always unlucky with everything, but with penalties, I had a Soboslai pen miss, I had an Enzo Lafay pen miss, I had a Thiago pen miss. I've had more pen misses. I had 2 Bruno Fernandes pen misses. It's been relentless this season with the penalty misses. I'm sure there's been someone else that missed a pen as well in my team. Can't really remember. To be fair, I don't mind if a highly owned player misses a pen, but when Soboslai missed a pen at 4% EO and Enzo Lafay missed a pen at 0.8% EO, it's just like, no one even has these guys anyway. Just give me the points. It's not like it's going to be a rank threat for anyone. It's just some nice differential points. Ben says, hi Ross, hope you're well. 2 free transfers, 0.6 in the bank. Okay, Kelleher, Dubravka, Timber, Gabriel, Anderson, Rodon. Okay, not an awful defence, but you could use probably 1 or 2 transfers. Soboslai, Rogers, Semenyo, Rice, Bruno, solid midfield, Ekatike, Haaland, Guiu. Soboslai to Enzo and Roll, or find a way to get in Burmo. I think Soboslai to Enzo is good. The only thing I will say is that you don't have to get Enzo this week, considering I suppose he is a slight doubt for Mins. I don't know what to think, really. I actually messaged in the group chat this morning. Harry said he'd be shocked if Enzo Fernandez is benched. And he's 100% on. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit overly worried for no reason on Enzo. But I think certainly João Pedro is definitely a more of a doubt. But he could just start full strength again. Do I go Saka to Rice? Sorry. Do I go Saka to Rice to go Wilson to Mbeumo? Yes, but maybe not this week. I would do that, but I'd wait one more week. Because I think Wilson's fine this week. And I think it'd be nice to give Saka this game after he's been rested. And then you also get a bit more information on Mbeumo. If Mbeumo plays as the 9 again, but only gets like 65 mins, I don't know that I'd want to go there. But if he gets 85, 90 mins, maybe plays on the right wing, it shows that the guy can play anywhere and he'll still be good. So I don't mind making that move, but I'd go next week. Bench one of Creepy Wilson, Gay, and VVD. Honestly, probably Mark Gay out of those options. Hey, Ross, please bestow your calming influence. Okay, let's all calm down here. Do I make a defender transfer? If I don't, I'm starting one of Anderson, Chow, or Keane. I feel like I'll need the transfer later. So if you want my calming influence, Keane needs to be sold. Because I just don't think he's going to be first choice of Tarkovsky and Branthwaite. But I don't mind having to start Anderson this week. Like, I'm doing the same. I think that's absolutely fine. And remember that next week, Anderson's got Everton at home. And next week, Chow's got Brentford at home, then Spurs away. Then you've got an Everton at home fixture. Then you've got Sunderland away. Like, that defence isn't that bad. So I do think Keane is the first transfer out, but I don't think you need to do it this week. That is my calming influence. At the same time, if you've got a transfer to use and you can get to a really high upside asset, then by all means go for it. Thor, good to see you, my friend. I hope you have been well. Family Feud at 61 versus 39. That is a big difference. I'm assuming that that was for you. Watkins finally returning, taking a huge risk with João Pedro and Bruno Fernandes captain in for Ekitike and Semenyo for a hit. So if any of Ekitike, Semenyo, and Haaland returns, up something creek. Yeah. Shall I insult you, Thor? I don't know if that will work out this week, although if Bruno goes big, it will. I do think Ekitike and Semenyo are fine for the time being, but I like the aggressiveness, to be honest. If João Pedro starts this week, it's a great transfer for him. And I suppose he's still probably more likely than not, you'd imagine. Let me actually look. I haven't looked at Jump the Wave's predictions. Jump the Wave. If you're wondering what Jump the Wave is, that's Emma's account. And she basically aggregates opinions from fans. So it's not particularly accurate some of the time, but it is what the fans think. Where is the... Here we are. So they do these little things. So we've got Arsenal, Aston Villa, Brighton, Chelsea. Here we go. Ah, damn. See, they've got 50% João Pedro, 50% Delap. Yeah. Predictions are sorted left to right from the highest to lowest predictors so far this season. So the two best Chelsea predictors have said Delap. The third best Chelsea predictor has said João Pedro. And then the fourth, fifth, and sixth best predictors have all said Delap. So, yeah, 5 of the top 6 are predicting João Pedro to be benched this week. But fans aren't always correct, and fans don't have a lot of information that Rosinha will have. So I wouldn't stress too much. Nice to see Enzo Fernandez, obviously, at 100%. I was surprised to see him that high, but that's always good. Like Reece James at 25%. If you have Reece James... that's probably not what you want to be seeing. Andre Santos down at 42%, I'm quite surprised about, actually. Yeah. Always useful to look at, though. Let's have a look at the Man City ones whilst we're at it. Actually, Liverpool. Ekitike 100, Wirtz 100, Salah 100, Szoboszlai 100. That's the main assets, right? Man City, here we go. Man City, Foden 63%, Cherky 88%, Semenyo 100, Nico Riley, 75%. Gay, 100. So most of the assets predicted to start, in all fairness. Did you use your wildcard yet? No, I've not used my wildcard yet. Is this a wildcard team? Oh, I can't thank you so much for the compliment. Is this a wildcard team? That's very kind of you. No, it's not. You might have been saying, is this a wildcard team because it stinks? But the fact that you even asked means it can't look that bad, you know? Can't look that bad. Welcome, Alex, Raptier ex-member. Thank you very much. I thought it was the cat coming. We are currently cat sitting for someone at the moment. Well, we've got the cat at our apartment, and she's causing absolute chaos, bless her. Absolute chaos. Didn't get as much sleep last night as I usually... I feel like I've got a child, basically. Cats do keep you up in the night. So if you hear the door open at some point, we might get a cat. Apex says, hi Ross, how are you? I am well, thank you, my friend. I hope you are as well. Benching, I love seeing the same people in the streams all the time, by the way. It feels like I've got friends. Benching headache for me this week. Start 3 of Alderete, Wilson, Ekitike, Cherky, Krupi. Oh, wow, that is a benching headache. That is in fact, you're like borderline bench boost there. I would start... Oh my god. Start 3 of Alderete, Wilson, Ekitike, Cherky, and Krupi. I would start Ekitike, Wilson, and Cherky. I think the worst option there is Krupi. And then I think I would definitely start Wilson and Ekitike a pack, and then I would start one of Alderete or Cherky, would be my opinion on it. Start Rodgers or Wilson. Ooh, tough one. I'd start Rodgers just about. Would you bench Anderson or O'Reilly? Ooh, I would start Anderson for the DEFCON. Hi, Ross. Need some help. Okay, that's why I'm here. Plan was Hall to Saliba and bench boost. Too many risks, question mark. Kelleher, Dubravka, Saliba, Gabriel, Alderete, Gay, Chalobah, Bruno, Saka, Foden, Enzo, KDH, Haaland, Ekitike, Mane. No, I think that's okay. I don't think there's any risks there. Well, not that come across my mind. Like Enzo Fernandez, slight risk, but you'd imagine he gets minutes. Chalobah, I suppose, could be, but he was recently benched midweek. So, no, I actually think that's a pretty safe team. And I would imagine Saliba does play. Maybe you do someone else rather than Saliba. Like, if you're really unsure on Saliba, maybe go and get... Who would be good this week on a bench boost? Maybe Senesi? And Senesi's a good long-term hold as well, so maybe go a little bit safer, but otherwise I think you're good, Jordan. Hi, Ross. Start O'Reilly or Dallo, DCL or Bruno G. I would go Bruno G and Dallo, probably. How are you, Ross? Hope yourself and Piccolo are well, thank you, Mike. Thank you for asking. Are you staying on Bruno captain or is Haaland tempting you? Haaland tempts me, but I try not to change captaincy decisions last minute. So you'll very rarely, I mean, it does happen, of course, but you'll rarely see me unless we get a leak or something. You'll very rarely see me come off of a captain in the middle of a stream, just because last minute switching, sometimes it works, but when it doesn't, you're just like, why did I switch last minute? It's kind of a little bit similar with benching decisions. I try not to change my opinion too last minute, especially on a deadline stream, because I'm just not thinking about this stuff in enough detail. Mr. Dashmate, Saka Timber bench worked. What is your madness you're going for this week? Honestly, oh, did you hear the cat then? The cat's going crazy. Carrick method continues. Okay, I've got your team. I love, like, honestly, mate, I wish I played the game the way you do. Your bench is Dubravka, De Kuyper, Wilson, Dorgu, Saka to Bruno with armband. Thoughts? Oh, yeah, if you've not got the main man, Bruno, get him in. Get him in. I love that you've put Harry Wilson on the bench as well. It's just anyone that plays against United. I love it, mate. The team looks really good. I hope one year you stick to the way you've been playing. Man United win the league and you win FPL. That would be quite something. And thank you for the support with the super chats as well. Bench one of Krupi, Anderson, and Lafie. Ooh, probably Krupi. I really don't think Krupi's that great. I'm starting him because it's him or Garner. But if Garner had a better fixture, I would almost definitely start James Garner. And I'm still tempted to start James Garner, to be fair. Nico O'Reilly to Gabriel and play 4-4-2 with Ekatike bench. Okay. Or play 4-3-3, play Ekatike and bench Wilson, or get Gabriel next week and sell Ekatike to Evan Nilsson and play 3-4-3. I probably marginally prefer the 4-3-3 and bench Wilson. I think this is the sort of game where Ekatike could do really well. The reason I sold Ekatike is it was just my most straightforward switch to Fernandez and Enzo, and also allowed me the money in the bank to make a future move. So if I could have got away with keeping Ekatike, I probably would have. I really have no issue with starting him this week. So I would go for that option. Alex says, hi, did Gordon to Sarr and Van Hecker to Chalobah? Start 3 of Senesi, Anderson, or Dallo. Start 3? There are only 3 there. Do you mean start 1? I assume it's start 1 or start 2? Anyway, I'll rank them for you, and then that will help you regardless. I would say probably Senesi, Dallo, Anderson in that order. Senesi, Dallo, Anderson. Big says, drop 1 of Gabriel, Timber, Chalobah, Alderete, Thiago. Leaning towards Thiago, won't drop anyone in midfield. Yeah, I would bench Thiago there. I think you're correct. Who would you take a -4 for? Munoz, João Pedro, Evan Nilsson? I probably wouldn't for any of those. Don't think any of them have the guaranteed upside that you would want. If I knew João Pedro was starting, maybe. Cats love cameras. She'll probably come around for the obligatory look at my butt shot. Luckily, my camera is at head height, so you'd only see like a bit of her tail. But yeah, she'll definitely come in at some point, I'm sure. Age of Autumn, thank you very much for the generous super chat. By the way, guys, I'm slightly behind on the super chats. I'll get round to it, don't worry. Just make sure you listen out for when your question comes. Okay, Age of Autumn, team is... Okay, I've got your team. 4 free transfers with what already looks like a pretty decent team. Fair play. Thoughts on Saka to Rice, Lafie to Rogers, Foden to Bruno, and Ekatike to João Pedro. Love it. Excellent 4 transfers. All I will say is obviously selling Enzo Lafie ahead of Burnley at home is not great, but... In fact, maybe you could make all of those moves other than Lafie to Rogers. Not just because I like him as an asset, but he does have Burnley at home, and he might still be on pens. So I think all of them other than that would be my play. But if you want to also get Morgan Rogers, I understand it. Captain Bruno or Palmer need to make up ground. I still think probably Bruno, but if you want to go super differential, Palmer will be barely owned, let alone captained. Hello, Ross. Hope you're well. I'm well, thank you. Thoughts on Man United? Do you think playing against Arsenal City, they can counter easier, has benefited them? Potentially. What I will say about Man United is we've not just been good on the counter. The general play has been better. The press has been better. And also, there was a point that Carrick made that him and Scholes used to just pass the ball around in the midfield to open up opportunities. And we're seeing it a lot more. Like, if you're a Man United fan, you'll know exactly what I mean. You know the Dorgu, Cunha, Bruno, Dorgu, Cunha, Bruno, that clip. You know, like the quick one-touch passing, and it opens up opportunities because the defence have to follow the ball. So, I don't know. And even Dorgu's goal, you know, the Dorgu to Bruno to Dorgu to Bruno to Dorgu, and then he hit that thunder bastard piss missile from 25 yards out. That is just we've not seen much of that. So I'm not saying I think Man United will go and slap Fulham 7-0, but I think Man United will still generate chances in a game that normally this is the sort of game where Man United would struggle. So we will see. Maybe they won't. And listen, if Man United accumulate 0.5 XG and look really, really sluggish, then we might have the same conversation. But yeah, I really do think there are parts of Man United that have developed even under Carrick in the last couple of games. That's my opinion. But I am an optimistic Man United fan at the moment. I feel like we're finally playing some decent football. Bench one of Dubravka, Anderson, Senesi, and Krupi. Ooh. And bench boost, question mark? Oh, sorry, bench of. Okay, bench of Dubravka, Anderson, Senesi, Krupi. If your entire starting 11 is pretty nailed on, then yes, I think that's a bench boost. The only time I wouldn't bench boost that is, of course, if players in your starting 11 could miss out. Replacing Voltemada, Evanilson, or Mane. Have Ekatike and Haaland as my other two. Oh, sorry, replacing Voltemada, Evanilson, or Mane. I think Mane would suit your team structure better because Evanilson, Ekatike, Haaland is a very expensive front three. But if you have the money to go and get Evanilson, I'd be tempted. Listen, I bought Krupi when I could have bought Evanilson, but that was because I wanted to then spend the money to upgrade Enzo Lafi or Garner next week. So if you've got something in mind for the future money, Hassam, I would probably get Mane, otherwise just buy Evanilson. Has this season been the hardest to predict? Can we get a captain's poll going? This season has been by far and away the most difficult, not because of my rank. Like, even those that are ranked quite highly, unless you've just had a super lucky season, even those guys in like the top 100k are saying it's just been a very strange season. Like, every week, my entire team seems to blank, and it's just like one or two players with monster hauls that sort of dig you out. Hello, and I will do a captaincy poll in a second here. Hello, Ross. Hope you're well. Lafi or Krupi? Ooh, I would still start Enzo Lafi there, I think. Yeah, I'd start Enzo Lafi. Are you 100% on Bruno captaincy? I would say 90%. Game week 24 captaincy poll. Bruno Fernandes. Or Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. And then I'll probably just go Gabriel. Against, I think Gabriel was probably the third most popular captain when I was looking on social media. And then I'll go comment here. Right, there you go. There's a Game Week 24 captaincy poll in the chat. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream, I completely forgot to ask, which is why we don't really have any. How many do we have? Yeah, we don't. If you're enjoying the stream, could you please drop a like? People just forget. That's fair enough, by the way. I forget as well when I'm watching content. But if you haven't liked the stream yet, please hit that like button. And if you're watching now and you're thinking, this stream's not half bad, then could you please also subscribe? That would be amazing. Bramjot, hello Ross. Wildcard questions. Triple Arsenal defence, overkill. No. Triple Chelsea attack, overkill. No. Pecking order of strikers outside of Haaland, Thiago, thanks. Haaland, Thiago, João Pedro, Evanilson, and then I wouldn't bother after that. Like, you could say Jared Bowen deserves to be in the shout, but I would just go cheap, Krupi, Mane. But no, I think you could go triple Arsenal defence or triple Chelsea attack. I don't know if I would go triple Arsenal defence and triple Chelsea attack, just because you're blocking yourself from an Arsenal attacker and you're blocking yourself from a Chelsea defender. And also, I do think one of Sanchez or Chalobah is probably in the best 3 Chelsea. So I would consider triple Arsenal defence. I don't love the triple Chelsea attack. I think that's the bit that I would change. But that neither of them are overkill. Start 2, bench 2 of Alderete, Tarkowski, Mane and Anderson. I would start Alderete and Tarkowski and bench Mane and Anderson if it was me. Hi Ross, I've got Igor Jesus and Palmer or João Pedro and Rodgers. João Pedro Rodgers is the better combo for me. Thoughts on Brobby? Play this week bench mostly. Yeah, love Brobby. Brobby's a really decent shout, especially on a wildcard, 5.5. In fact, when I was ranking the forwards, I probably should have mentioned Brobby. I like Brobby a lot. He's not even that... Like, he's only 0.9 or 0.8 million more than Krupi. Like, that's pretty cheap for a guy that's starting and getting goals. Use my 4 free transfers. Achempong, Gordon, Foden, Ekatike. To Chalobah, Rice, Bruno Fernandes, Evan Olsen. Are they good moves? Yeah, excellent moves. You brought in 4 brilliant players there, Timbo Slice. I have no major concerns at all with those moves. Really nice. Wilson captain? Maybe. You are targeting a Man United team that are in very good form and spirits, but it can always turn on its head. I do think Wilson will get chances against that Man United team. Bruno G or Keane, both risks, or Enzo -4 for Bruno. I wouldn't start Keane. I can't see Keane starting personally. I mean, he could, but I don't see it. Enzo -4 for Bruno. I think I would just play Bruno G. Just about. It's very close, though, but I think I'll just play Bruno G. Start Anderson or Vandenberg. Anderson, probably. Can also sell Dorgu to Senesi, Cash, Richards for a -4. I wouldn't do it. If you do it, I would buy Senesi, but I would just start Anderson. I can't sit here confidently and say Senesi outscores Anderson by 4 points. Let's say Anderson concedes 3, which is probably worst case scenario, gets DEFCON, you'll come away with a 3-pointer. That means you need Senesi to get 7 points just to pay back the hit. You need 8+ points to make any profit on that. So I would probably start Anderson. Mr. Shazam, thank you for the generous super chat, my friend. Good morning, mate. Hope you are well. Just wanted to show my appreciation. What a nice guy. Just wanted to show my appreciation for the help this week with my team. Your content has been excellent this week. Well done, mate. Have a good weekend. Honestly, mate, you're far too kind. What a legend. If you don't know who Shazam is, get to know Shazam. Shazam is just a legend. A member, a supporter of the channel, and just one of the nicest men I've ever had the pleasure of interacting with. So thank you very much, Shazam. And thank you for all of your support on Pickles content as well, because I know you support Pickle very much as well. Hincapié, Mane, Krupi, Alderete, O'Reilly. Start 2. Alderete. Alderete and Krupi would be my 2, I think. 2 free transfers. Thoughts on Mbeumo in for Bruno G and Pedro in for Ekatike? Or Bruno in for Bruno G and then Krupi in for Thiago. I probably prefer, which isn't one of your options you listed, Bruno G to Bruno F, and then Krupi in for Ekatike. Or Brobby. How about that? How about Bruno G in for Bruno F in for Bruno G, and then Brobby in for Ekatike. How about that? Don't mind that at all. Taster, hi Ross, the content. Hi Ross, love the content. Who to bench? Pickford. Okay, I've got your team. I would bench Mane. I would bench Mateus Nunes. And I would bench... That's tough. Wow. If you're starting Chalobah, maybe Bowen. But he's on pens. Wow, that's a tough benching decision. I would bench Dubravka, Mateus Nunes, Mane, and Bowen. And I would start Chalobah. If you want to start Bowen, maybe you bench Chalobah. Like, I would pick which way you want to fall on that one, probably. Foden to Mbeumo or Rodgers. I have Bruno. Favorite dance. I don't know. Like Shakira. My hips don't lie. Sorry, Foden to Mbeumo or Rodgers. I have Bruno. Foden to... I still probably just about prefer Brian Mbeumo if I had the funds. Should I bench boost Dubravka, Wilson, Tarkovsky, and Marnie? If your starting 11 looks spot on and you're not going to miss any of them out, then yeah, I don't mind that. Always start a pen-taking attacker over a defender, I'd say. Maybe, but that's like saying, would you start Gabriel or Thiago if Thiago was playing against Arsenal? You'd still start Gabriel out of Thiago. Do you see what I mean? Like, if you think the team will keep a clean sheet, then it's worth starting the defender. I could definitely see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet in this game. Dan, thank you for the super chat. I've got your wildcard team. Yeah, really nice team. I like the Maguire and Hill shouts. Cheap defence in terms of the 4th and 5th, but I get it. Thoughts on Rodgers versus Semenyo? Rodgers. João Pedro versus Evan Ilson. I would probably just lean João Pedro, but it's very close. And then Krupi versus Mane. Krupi over Mane. Emi Martinez Chalobah versus Sanchez Munoz. Debating Emi Saliba Maguire to Verbruggen, Timber, and Anderson. I agree with all of your decisions, but I think I would be tempted by Sanchez and Munoz over Emi Martinez and Chalobah. I think that's the key thing for me. You don't have to apologise for it being long-winded. You got it all in the word count. No, I think I agree with all of it. But yeah, Sanchez and Munoz would tempt me. But otherwise, I think you've got it pretty spot on. Anytime someone puts... By the way, loads of people in their messages put VER for Verbruggen. If you read VER, chat, what do you think? I want to see if anyone else's brain... Every time I go to read out VER, what do you think? Just want to see if anyone else's brain works the way mine... Honestly, it's like do my brain. Anytime I see VER, everyone obviously means Verbruggen, but I just go to read out Verstappen. Do. When is the start of the F1 season? That's the real. It's not far away, is it? When does the F1 season start? It's not long. It's like a month, isn't it? Yeah, it's just over a month. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. We've got Bahrain testing in a couple of weeks. Whew. Gonna be exciting. It's gonna be such a good season. George Russell's gonna win the championship. Right, let's talk about F1. I'm gonna get overly excited. Should I bench Tarkovsky for Ayari? No, I would start Tarkovsky. The Moon Kitty, thank you for being a member for 4 months. I appreciate it. Hello, Captain and Rap Tacticos. Okay, I've got your team. Transfer Tarkovsky to Mukiele, Voldemar to João Pedro, Casado to Semenyo. Is it worth it for a -8 or wild card? That feels like a classic case of you just want to do something with your team. Like those transfers aren't worth a -8. If you do want to make those transfers and improve your team overall, I don't hate a wild card, but I think your team is good. In fact, I do hate a wild card. Your team's too good to wild card. That team's brilliant. Just roll the transfer. I mean, if you want to sell Walter Marder for 1 transfer to João Pedro, I don't hate it. That's a really nice team, Moon Kitty. I think you're too hard on yourself thinking you need to wildcard that. F1 Raptor. I always thought about making an F1 YouTube channel where I like review the races and talk about it and make predictions. My issue is like I don't know that much. I'm like the equivalent of someone that like watches football and it's just like, this is a good game. In terms of the technical aspects, I understand DRS, I understand the pit stops, I understand a bit about strategy, I understand the differences in the cars, the drivers, I understand lap times, but like, you know, like the finer details, I just don't know if I know enough about. And I just, you know, like when you listen to someone talk about football and they don't know what they're talking about, it's a bit like, gives you like the ick, doesn't it? It's like, oh, shut up. Like, stop talking about a sport that you don't understand. No DRS from this season. I know. What do we think about that? That's a huge change. I think, listen, we'll have to see how it looks, but I understand why. It was just like so much more DRS. There was just so many DRS trains. Do you know what? Anytime I think of DRS, I just think of Kevin Magnussen, the Kevin Magnussen DRS trains. I get it. But anyway, you know what I mean. please do F1. Maybe in the future. I need to finish my PhD first, and then I'll start thinking about further YouTube channels. Don't have the time at the moment. Maybe I'll just do like a Twitch. Maybe I'll just live stream during the race or something. Hi, Ross. Who do I bench between Harry Wilson / Thiago? Oh, that's so close. I would have to lean marginally towards the penalty taker in Thiago, but I really don't mind starting Wilson if that's what your gut feeling tells you. Sean X says, hello, Ross. Hope you and Pickle are well. We are well, thank you. Had a great weekend last week. Lincoln Park concert, United win, but a bad FPL score. Who cares? You had a Lincoln Park concert and Man United won. That's great. I'm glad you had a good weekend. Hopefully this weekend is good for you as well. Okay, I've got your team. 4 free transfers, 1.2 million in the bank. Do you have any suggestions? It's a great team. I'm going to say something which might upset you, which is I think you should roll the transfer again. Is there anything you can do with that? No. Mate, you've just got to roll that transfer. Get to 5 and then we'll do something next week. That's a great team. If you don't get a green arrow this week, I'm calling you one of the unluckiest managers out. That's such a strong team. You should be fine. João Pedro and Anderson, Forest, or Mane and Semenyo? I actually prefer João Pedro and Anderson, personally. Hi, Ross. Start 3 of Chow, Anderson, Van Hecke, KDH, and Minter. Chow, Anderson, Van Hecke, KDH, and Minter. Wow. Anderson. Oh, wow. Anderson, Dewsbury Hall, and Van Hecke. No, no, that doesn't make sense, Van Hecke and Dewsbury Hall. I would go Anderson... Anderson, Dewsbury Hall, and Minter, probably. Really miss FPL Therapy in your Game Week reviews. Any plans to bring it back? Keep up the good work. Yes, so I'm planning to have had my PhD finished by the start of next season. Hopefully, if all goes well. If I do have my PhD finished by the start of next season, I will have a lot more free time. And so I will bring back some kind of Game Week review style video. Might not be FPL Therapy. It might not be an hour and a half long. But I will bring back something to come out on a Monday where I go through some part of the previous game week. I enjoyed doing it. It's just really time consuming. It's my most time consuming video of the week, basically. Dennis, good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? Bro, 11. Okay, I've got your 11. Got your bench. Any ideas what to do? Wanted Enzo / Jow or Chalobah, but I'm missing 0.1 million. Just roll. Yeah, just roll that team, mate. It's a great team, strong team. No obvious upgrades. I think you've got a lot of the bases covered. I mean, Bruno Fernandes is the one that you're probably missing. I don't know how many free transfers you have or how much money in the bank you have. But I'm going to assume no money in the bank or little money in the bank. And I don't know how many free transfers. If you have the free transfers available to do something like Ekatike down and Bruno G to Bruno F, then I would do it. Like Ekatike down to Brobby and Bruno G up to Bruno Fernandes. If that works finance-wise and you've got the transfers, great. If you're having to take a hit for it, I would probably just leave it. Have you made any transfers? I made 3 transfers on Sunday. So I bought Bruno Fernandes, Enzo Fernandez, and Krupi for Foden, Soboslai, and Ekatike earlier in the week. That's all of my free transfers used. It does leave me with 3.5 million in the bank, so I've got plenty of money for future moves. Hi, Russ. I have a benching dilemma. Raya, Gabriel, Gay, Munoz, Bruno, and Burmo, Rice, Enzo, Semenyo, Haaland, Thiago. Bench, Alderete, DCL, and Anderson. Raya, Gabriel. Okay. That is a benching headache. Don't hate... So I think you've got this spot on. I would just switch Alderete and Mark Gay, and then I think it's perfect. But yeah, if you want to start Gay, I understand it. I don't think the rest is that bad. I think it's just literally that final defender spot, but I would start Alderete. Just want to say thanks for always answering the questions fully and in detail. It's much appreciated. All the best, Ross. I try my best. The issue is, and let me know what you'd prefer, guys, but the issue is, I think I've seen other people stream. I answer questions in a lot more detail, but it means I answer fewer questions. So I always have this debate in my mind, like, should I try and answer more questions, but give more surface level answers? Or is it useful to hear me fully explain, but then I'm not? Like, there's going to be loads of people that I've just never answered your questions. Do you see what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, I give a lot of detail, but I worry sometimes that's too much detail. It's a bit like my videos, to be honest. I just can't be concise with what I want to say. Reese says, Pickford, Chalobah, Gabriel, Timber, Bruno Fernandes, captain, Verts, Wilson, Thiago, Haaland, Raul. Thoughts? Excellent team. And Raul Jimenez is a player that probably continues to go under the radar a little bit. Great defense, strong midfield. You should get a nice green arrow there with that team, Reese. I like the detail. It's helpful. I prefer quick fire. Fully explaining it. Others answers other questions too. Just be you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think as well, like I agree. If it's a super chat, I feel bad. Imagine someone's giving me like £10 of their money, which, by the way, is ridiculously generous and you don't need to. But I feel so bad if I'm just like, yes. Do you know what I mean? It's so peak if I'm just like, no, I wouldn't. Hi from Australia. Bench Krupi, Laffy, or Tarkovsky. Laffy's on pens. Tarkovsky's a DEFCON monster. I'd bench Krupi out of those. Start one of these following defenders: Anderson, O'Reilly, or Dallo. I would maybe go Dallo at home. Minutes are good. He's not impossible that he gets DEFCON, and he does have some attacking threat, so I'd probably go Dallo. OG Mastaz says, hi, Ross. Would you do -4 Hall to Chalobah? No. Current team is Verbruggen, Senesi, Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Rice, Bruno, Palmer, Semenyo, Haaland, Brobby, Krupi. No, because you're not only taking a -4 to sell Hall, you're then going to have to bench Tarkovsky. So no, definitely not. I would leave the team as it is and just keep Hall on the bench. Hi, Egg. Bench one of Wilson, Ekatike, Thiago. Thanks. I would bench Wilson, probably just about, but I don't love that. Hi, Ross. Thoughts on Ekatike to any sub 6 million forward and Miley to Bruno for a -4 or just roll? Don't love taking hit. Love your content, by the way. Keep it up. Thank you, Mark. I would lean towards no, unless you want to captain Bruno Fernandes. If you would captain Bruno Fernandes, Mark, then I would do it, and I would go Brobby. In fact, I kind of regret not buying Brobby. I think because I had Enzo Laffy anyway, I was like, I don't need a double up on the Sunderland attack. But yeah, I think Brobby's a nice shout if you want some action on the Monday night as well. I really want João Pedro on wildcard. Good punt. On a wildcard, I see no issue with it. I don't know if I'd transfer him in this week just because he's a minutes risk. But on a wildcard, I'd be very happy to include him. You have got an hour and 15 minutes till the deadline. Plenty of time. I don't know if we'll get any team news today, but I'll of course keep an eye out for it, as I always do. Ryan says, hi Ross, I appreciate the content as always. Having a terrible season myself. Bench 2 of Van Hecker, Elliot Anderson, Reece James, Senesi. Help a brother out. I would bench Reece James and Van Hecker. Reece James because he might be benched, and most people are predicting he will be. Van Hecker because I just don't think he's that great of an asset. And then Elliot Anderson and Senesi are the DEFCON guys. They're the best DEFCON midfielder and the best DEFCON defender. So you'll get an extra 4 points from them straight away. Adios says, hola, senor. Big love. Would you make any changes? Roof, Mukiele, Gabriel, Chalobah. Great defense. Rice, Semenyo, Enzo, Bruno, João Pedro, Thiago. What a team. What a team. No, I'd leave it. I think you've got that spot on. And you've got a lovely first sub in Tarkovsky as well. Heaven says, on wildcard, Sanchez, Gabriel, Chalobah, Timber. Nice defense. Bruno, Semenyo, Enzo, Wilson, and Bermo. Great midfield. Haaland, Thiago. Bench, Senesi. Unsure about Semenyo, Wilson, and Thiago. I wouldn't have Wilson, but that's just because I feel like he's already so highly owned and he's already done a lot of the points. I try and look for the next player that does really well. Who would that be, though? I mean, Declan Rice is missing, I would say. You've got Gabriel and Tim. You've got no Arsenal attacker. I think the one... I would say probably Wilson to Rice, and then I'd be very happy with the team as it stands. Yeah, I like Senesi as well as an option. I wouldn't get rid of him. If you only had to make one transfer, would you sell Wilson or Garner? Which ones get Enzo? Or sell Dorgu for Munoz Chalobah? Which one? Or sell Vandenberg for Timber? Any move will be a -4. I don't think you need to do any of those, especially for a -4. The one that makes the most sense, probably, I would say, is Dorgu to Chalobah. Considering fixtures, considering Dorgu's injured. Timber I do like, though. I think one of the defender transfers, but I'm not necessarily sure that you need to do that for a -4 this week. Hi, Ross. Love your analysis. Thank you very much, Omkar. Did 4 free transfers. Chow, Bruno G, Giyu Foden. Okay, all good transfers out. To Fernandez, Rogers, Senesi, Krupi. Brilliant. Yeah. Lovely set of 4 transfers. My remaining team then is Raya, Gabriel, Tarkovsky, Anderson, Saka, Haaland, Thiago, and 0.4 in the bank. What are your thoughts long term? Yeah, great team. Great team. I don't see any major concerns now. I mean, your team looks really well set up. I think from now on, you focus on just rolling the transfer on card, basically, I would say. Quayla360 says, Wildcard 24 active. Sanchez, Dubravka, Gabriel, Chalobah, Senesi, Mukiele. Yes, super solid defense. VVD. Oh, I wouldn't have Van Dijk. 2.1 million in the bank. Can bet Munoz, Bruno, Saka, Rice, Enzo. I'm confused. Can be Munoz? Oh, you're saying VVD can be Munoz. Bruno, Saka, Rice, Enzo, Anderson, Haaland, Mane, Krupi. Yeah, I would say Van Dijk's the only one I'm not that keen on there. But the rest of the team looks really solid. I do like Munoz more, if that was what you were saying. Best defender 4.5 to 5 to bench this week. I mean, arguably just still Joachim Anderson, I would say. Richards, I think, is a decent long-term option. Probably Richards or Anderson would be the 2. Senesi, but I wouldn't want to bench him this week. But I like Senesi a lot. Senesi, Anderson, or Richards. Are you confident on Bruno captain? I'm not confident, but I feel settled enough on it. Maurice, thank you for becoming a Rap Tier 2 member. I appreciate it. Max Elder says, how do I start Mukiele? Would you be able to bench one of Chalobah, Timber, Semenyo, Rogers, Verts, Rice, or Ekatike? No. No, you just bench Mukiele, I think. Is there anyone there? I mean, arguably, you could bench Chalobah. That's the only one, but I think I would start Chalobah. So I think, sadly, you've just got such a stacked team that you've just got to bench Mukiele. Hi, Ross. My team is, okay, Kelleher, Gabriel, Chalobah, Hall, Saka, Bruno, Fernandez, Rice, Enzo Fernandez, Wilson, Haaland, Ekatike. Bench of Dubravka, Anderson, Rodon, Giyu. 1 free transfer, 0.7 in the bank. Don't really like some players. Wildcard thoughts. You've got Bruno, you've got Rice, you've got Enzo, you've got Haaland, you've got Chalobah, you've got Gabriel. I don't think that's a wildcard, personally. I would just use probably a defender transfer feels the best to me there. I would say Lewis Hall to Munoz or even Rodon to Alderete to give you a better option this week isn't bad. I don't know. I don't think that's a wildcard team, but if you are on the fence and you're like, I might go for it, I kind of want to go for it, then do it. I don't want to put you off of playing a chip. Dennis says 2 free transfers, 0 in the bank. Okay, Bruno G to Bruno Fernandes and Ekatike 2, ? Have 7.3 in the bank for the last forward. Love your content. You are the best. All love G. Oh, okay. Thank you for the kind words. So, let me just check he is still that price. I would probably lean João Pedro, but I just want to say, Dennis, before you do it, yeah, 7.3. I do think there's a chance he's benched this week, but it doesn't really matter because then I think he then starts the next 3. So as long as you're willing to accept that chance... The other option then is Evan Nilsson, who's down at 7.1, so cheaper, and I think his minutes will be excellent. So if you want a minutes guy, I would go Evan Nilsson. If you want a higher upside pick, I'd go João Pedro. But I would go for one of those 2 options, Dennis. And then, yeah, I think that's strong. If I've made my transfers and at a later time activate my wildcard, do I get my transfers back for the week? Yeah, so if you use your transfers and then activate a free hit, or you then activate a wildcard, you get those transfers back that you used the next week. You don't gain an extra one, you just get the ones back. So let's say you had 3 free transfers, you used all of them, then you wildcarded. In the following week, you'd have 3 free transfers. And again, the same goes for the free hit as well. Basically wipes out the transfers. Jay says, hello, bud. Starting 11. Hello, Jay, by the way. Good to see you, my friend. Got your team. 1.9 in the bank. Should I wildcard? Is this team okay till 31? Start O'Reilly, ? Defense, very solid. Rice, Enzo, Bruno, Garner, and Bum. That literally looks like a wildcard, Jay. So 100 million% don't wildcard that team. Should you start O'Reilly? Gabriel, Virgil, Mookie? No. I think you've got it exactly spot on. Starting 11 spot on, bench is spot on, team looks great. I would not wildcard. Bizzle says lost 1.5 million in rank, hit wildcard. Thoughts? Okay. I mean, if you're chasing, I get it. Verbruggen and Dubravka, fine. Gabriel, Timber, Chalobah, Cash, Anderson, solid. Rice, Rogers, Enzo, Bruno Fernandes, Mbermo, Haaland, João Pedro, Mane. Brilliant. Is there anything I don't like there? No, not really. Not really. Yeah, I think you're good. It's very similar to what I would go with on a wildcard, Bizzle. 1 free transfer, Guiu to Krupi, then bench boost. Possible. Krupi, Dubravka, Mukiele, Hall. I don't love that bench boost, personally. Especially because Hall was on it. I don't know. I think you'll have better opportunities to bench boost in the future, probably. Start Cherky or Krupi. Probably Cherky. I have 6 reds in 7 weeks. I'm not going to do it. Now ranked 110k and have double Arsenal, double Sunderland, Tarkovsky, Rogers, Thiago, Bruno, Enzo, Ekatike. Is it worth a wildcard? Thank you. Double Arsenal's great. I mean, you want a third, but fine. Double Sunderland's good for this week. Tarkovsky, Rogers, Thiago, Bruno, Enzo, Ekatike. Sounds like a good team, honestly. You might want a wildcard next week if you've got double Sunderland, not many transfers to use potentially, but I wouldn't wildcard this week. Doesn't sound like that makes much sense. Bramjot says, hello again, Ross. Wildcard, Pickford, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Alderete, Anderson, Rodon. Palmer, Saka, Bruno, Rogers, Enzo, João Pedro, Watkins, Krupi. Changes? Thanks. Yes, definitely changes. I wouldn't have Rodon. I think you can do better than Pickford for the price. So Pickford downgrade, Rodon upgrade. Pickford to Sanchez and Rodon to Senesi. Yeah. Pickford to Sanchez, Rodon to Senesi. Rest of the team looks okay, though. I have no issues with the rest of the team. Ben says, I've done Van Dijk and Saka to Bruno Fernandes and Timber. Van Dijk and Saka to Bruno. Okay, yeah, I like it. Already have Gabriel, Timber, and Gabriel on my only Arsenal asset. Still filling Haaland cap. Also, thoughts. Yeah, that sounds good. I like the transfers. Haaland captain's great. The Spurs are all over the place. They've got a lot of injuries. We think Van der Ven will be fit, but how fit, we don't know. Apparently, they're trialing a back 3 that they might play. It's peak right now. Bleak and peak for Spurs. I don't mind captaining Haaland at all. Hello, Ross. Your channel has helped me the last few days. Thanks. You are more than welcome. I'm glad it's helped you. That's what I like to hear. My defense is Gabriel, Timber, Chow, O'Reilly, Rodon. Thinking of bringing in Chalobah for free. Would you do this, and would you do it for O'Reilly or Chow? Big love. I would probably do it for O'Reilly, just because Chow's minutes should be good, and he's got a decent couple of fixtures coming up. O'Reilly, listen, I think O'Reilly starts this one for what it's worth, but I just don't know in the long term that I'd want an asset that I never know if they're going to start or not. So I would do Chalobah in for O'Reilly. Emin Chuckster says, hello, still 3 million in rank. That's crazy. Your team looks good every week, Emin Chuckster. I don't know what's going on. Wildcard this week due to terrible team and team value in the bin. Okay. Wildcard pretty template, but which combo would you choose from these? Sanchez, Munoz, Ronaldo, João Pedro, or Kelleher, Chalobah, Alderete, and keep Thiago? I think considering your rank and the need to chase upside, I probably prefer Sanchez, Munoz, Ronaldo, and João Pedro. Just bear in mind, Hill at 3.9 million for Bournemouth arguably might be the best cheap defender. He's starting a lot. His DEFCON's been better than Senesi since starting. He's not fully nailed on, but you could chase the upside slightly there as well. But I think Munoz and João Pedro just have a higher ceiling, Emin Chuckster, so probably worth it. Cherky to Rice or Mbermo have double Arsenal defence. Cherky to Rice feels good to me. Bench boost of Dubravka, Senesi, Krupi, and Mukiele. Yes. I've wildcarded. You can't wildcard. You can't bench boost if you're on a wildcard. I would have said yes, but you can't activate 2 chips in the same week. So maybe there'll be a future week where your bench also looks good. Bench 2 of Thiago, Wilson, Ekatike, Timber. Thanks. Bench 2 of Thiago, Wilson, Ekatike, Timber. Wow. Bench 2 of those. Thiago and Wilson. And I would start Ekatike and Timber. Is Palmer a good captain this week? He's a fine captain, yeah. Good, yes. Not excellent just because of the minutes, but still good. Ross, don't you think that Hall will be wing back in a back five? Yes, that is very possible. I don't think that he was. I don't think that he was particularly attacking though against PSG. So, in comparison to left back, I think he's attacking regardless of where he plays. To be fair, but. Wildcard, 0 in the bank. Sanchez, Timber, Gabriel, Chalobah, Munoz, Rogers, Enzo, Rice, Fernandez, Ahmad, Haaland, with a bench of Krupi, Trufer, Thiago. Should I drop Ahmad to KDH and start Thiago? I quite like the Ahmad punt, in all fairness. I don't think he'll start every game, but I don't mind it. I do think probably, yeah, KDH instead of Ahmad with a bit of money in the bank to use on other stuff might be sensible. It might be sensible. But if you want to punt on Ahmad, I have no issue with it. Bench boost of Dubravka, Van Hecke, Hill, and Krupi Jr. or hold. I don't mind that if the rest of your team looks really good. Yeah, I don't mind that bench boost. Have been top 50k last 3 years, currently 3 million. Mate, I've been top 50k. I've been top 35k 4 years in a row. Like that's my rank. I think people just assume I'm terrible at the game. I'm not saying I'm particularly great at the game. But yeah, last 4 seasons has been 12.5k, 29k, 10.1k, 35k, and I'm having a stinker. I just can't move. Look at this. Look at this since game week 13. Since game week 13, all I've done is gone down 21k places. I'm just stagnating. I can't move. I take risks. I change captaincy. I pick differentials. It's just like nothing works. Anyway, I'm there with you. On wildcard, Verbruggen, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Chalobah, Mukiele, Alderete, Fernandez, Mbermo, Rice, Enzo, and Jai, Haaland, Thiago, Mane. Any changes? Great team. No major issues. That's like, not in a bad way, by the way. That's like the template wildcard that I would suggest. So you're not going to go particularly wrong with a team like that, I wouldn't imagine. Bruno G or Raul Jimenez? I'd be tempted by Raul Jimenez on pens. My team is... Okay, I've got your team, Jason Peachy. And subs of Dubravka, grouping Mukiele and Nunez. Wildcard, though, any changes? That's a wildcard team. Is that what you're saying when you say wildcard, though? I think so. Who's grouping? Oh, it's probably Krupi. I was thinking, who's grouping? But I think that's a typo or autocorrect for Krupi. It's Dubravka, Krupi, Mukiele, and Nunez. No. I think actually I would start Mukiele ahead of Tarkovsky, but in terms of the players you picked, I really like them. Start Harry Wilson, Munoz, or Senesi. I could never bench Munoz. That's all I'll say. But I think that's a terrible benching headache. I really think you could start all 3 of those, but I could never bench Munoz. Frederick Drews. Okay, I've got your team. You got 1.1 million, 3 free transfers. Enzo and Bruno for Palmer and Garner. No. Don't like that. I would try and find another way. What else could you do? To get Thiago... No. To get Bruno G to Bruno Fernandez, you need to free up, what? Like 2.5 mil? That's tough, actually, isn't it? That is really tough. Maybe you do that, actually. But I think this is going to have to be a move that you want to make if you get Bruno. I just hate selling Palmer this week. But yeah, I think especially if you're going to captain Bruno. If you're not going to captain Bruno, maybe don't do it. But if you're going to captain Bruno Frederick, I'd be willing to do that. Big Man Ross, is this a big man bench boost? Verbruggen, Krupi, Van Dijk, Richards. That is certainly on the cusp of being worth a bench boost. Yeah, I would maybe be willing to do that. Are there any Man United leaks? No, not yet. I'll keep an eye out for them, though. Maurice says, hello, Ross. Thoughts on Buendia as a differential? Just won't get the minutes, sadly, I don't think. Unless I'm completely mistaken. But even with the injuries, I don't see him starting every game. And even then, I don't think his output will be that high. So I would probably look elsewhere. But, I mean, if you're asking, is he a differential? Absolutely. So trust your gut feeling on it. Marius says, wildcard or not? I have 2 free transfers and 2.1 million in the bank. Okay. Should you wildcard that team? Verbruggen, Dubravka is good. Anderson, Hall, Gabriel, Ruben Diaz, Richards. Not the best defense. Midfielder, Foden, Rice, Semenyo, Paquetá, Wilson. Front three of Haaland, Ekitike, Krupi. I think that's borderline a bench boost, yeah. I do. You'd want to replace Hall, Ruben Diaz, Foden, Paquetá. I mean, realistically, it's only 4 players there that desperately need replacing. I wonder about Ruben Diaz to Chalobah and Foden to Bruno and bench Paquetá. Yeah, do you know what? No, I would do Ruben Diaz to Chalobah, Foden to Bruno Fernandes, bench Paquetá, and then playing a 3-4-3. I think your team looks good. That was Creepy Junior, not grouping in my last super chat. Okay, good to confirm. Considering no bench boost, one of Cherki, Mukiele, or Thiago. Bench one of Cherki, Mukiele, Thiago. Probably Ryan Cherki. On a wildcard, I was wondering if you would opt for Palmer or Pedro as your third Chelsea. Worried about minutes for both. Yeah, I would be worried about minutes for both. Minutes this week will be better for Palmer, would be my guess. But long term, I prefer João Pedro. So on a wildcard, I'd have João Pedro. Hi, Ross. Start Alderete or Virgil van Dijk? Alderete. Start one of Sharda, Tarkovsky, or Raul Jimenez. Raul Jimenez. Hello, mate. Any obvious changes? Okay, Will. Got your team. 2 free transfers, 0.3 in the bank. So defense doesn't need to change. Midfield looks very good. No. Nice and easy. I was just looking through that team, Wills. That's a lovely team, mate. No, I would roll the transfer. You've even got a decent first sub in Krupi, so no need to make a move. Hi Ross, Hi Ross. Team is Raya, Timber, Van Hecker, Alderete, Rogers, Sharda, Wilson, Mbeumo, Thiago, Ekatike, Haaland, bench of Dubravka, O'Reilly, Chow, and Aronson. Thoughts? Yeah, it's a nice little team, mate. You got likes of Sharda, Van Hecker, slightly different players. I like the fact that Mbeumo's in there. Bruno Fernandes is probably the major omission. I would say overall your midfield is quite cheap. Rogers, Sharda. I guess Sharda's not Wilson and Mbeumo with Aronson on. It is quite a cheap midfield. You must have a little bit of money in the bank, I'd imagine, with a team like that. So maybe getting Aronson upgraded at some point is the plan. Or even Aronson down to Dewsbury Hall would upgrade your team. But I think that would be future planning what I'd be looking at. Hi, mate. Bench Thiago, Chalobah, or Wilson? Probably Wilson. Hi, Ross. Wildcarding into Roofs, Dubravka, Timber, Gabriel, Chalobah, Alderete, Rodon, Rogers, Rice, Enzo, Bruno, Mbeumo, Krupi, Haaland, João Pedro. Great wildcard. Only concern, not even concern, but difference would be I would not have Rodon as a cheap asset. I would rather Hill. I'd rather Hill. Who's another good cheap defender? I would even arguably rather Estev than Rodon. Rodon for me just doesn't do it because he's not great for bonus points. He doesn't get DEFCON. Like, apart from last week when I, of course, benched him. DEFCON recently, it's been 11-2, 3. Obviously didn't play these, but 6-9, 9-7, 9-9. He often gets within a few, but it's just, he's not really DEFCONing on a consistent basis. So I would look elsewhere. James says, rate my 11, not a wildcard. Evan Nilsson, Haaland, Mbeumo, Bruno, Enzo, Saka, Rice, Alderete, Chalobah, Gabriel, Roofs. As a non-wildcard team, I would give that a 10. Because it looks like a wildcard. As a wildcard, I'd give it like a 9.5. But to get that without a wildcard, yes, a 10 out of 10. I think Saka, Rice, captain this week. Thoughts? Yeah, I like that. I would probably lean Saka just because he's possibly on pens. Or at least he's got a share of penalties if Gyökeres isn't on the pitch. Bart Liverpool 2-3 says, hello, Ross, on wildcard. Okay, I've got your team. What are your thoughts? Yeah, love it. Defense is almost perfect. I don't know if I'd have Raya, but I can understand why you would have Raya with the double, with the blanket. It makes sense to have him, so I get it. I'd give that like a 9.2, 9.3 out of 10. Hacker says, take a -4 to get to this team for Bruggen, Timber, Gabriel, Senesi, Chalobah, Enzo, Bruno, and Jaya, Saka, Haaland, Thiago, or wildcard. If you can get to that team for a -4, I don't know what the -4 is, of course, but that is a wildcard team. To save the wildcard and only lose 4 points as a result is worth it. Martin, you're on wildcard as well. Lots of wildcard drafts. They all look really strong, by the way, guys. Everyone's sending their wildcards in. Lacroix is a great pick. I have no issues with that. It's really interesting to see just a different pick in there. Anderson, a good cheap midfielder as well. I like Mbeumo, Fernandes, Rice, and Enzo. Haaland, and then Petrovic, Marnie, Krupi. I love that. Yeah, I mean, I would want to get João Pedro or Evan Nilsson in, I think, on a wild card. I'd want, like, Haaland, João Pedro or Evan Nilsson, or Thiago, and then Krupi or Mane. I think I like that structure slightly more, but that team's great. So if you decided not to, I could understand it. And I don't know how he would find the funds, I suppose, to get one of them. Nick says, morning, mate. Am I stupid for bench boosting Roofs, Alderete, Cash, and Kroupy? No. As long as your starting 11 all start, that is a bench boost worthy team. Absolutely. 100%. Keane last bench, worth a transfer or roll. If he's last bench and you don't need to start him, then I would just roll. Mark says, Captain Palmer / Bruno at 1.6 million rank, 20k rank last year. That's tough. Either or. If you want to really go balls to the wall, Hail Mary, Captain Palmer. But I think Bruno's a perfectly differential captain. It might feel like a lot of people are captaining Bruno, but his ownership won't be as high as you think. Man, if Bruno blanks watching Haaland in the game on Sunday, it will be painful. Yeah, I know. If you've not seen the way the games fall, Man United Fulham's at 2 p.m. And then we've got Man City Spurs at 4:30. So if Bruno blanks, especially if you're like me where Haaland is my only player in that game, that is going to be a tough watch. If you don't know how effective ownership works, by the way, let me ruin FPL for you. You might think, even if I've not captained Haaland, I don't mind if he does well. Haaland's effective ownership is about 175%, which means because everyone owns Haaland and so many people captain him, if you don't captain Haaland and you own him, he still hurts your rank, which it took me so long to wrap my head around the concept that a player that I own will do badly for me. But again, because so many people captain him, what that means mathematically then is you lose about 75% of the points that Haaland gets. So let's say Haaland goes and gets a 10-pointer. This isn't possible, obviously. Well, it could get a 10-pointer, I suppose, but you would lose 7.5 points to the field. So what we're basically saying there is if Haaland goes and gets a brace, you're losing almost 10 points to the field, which is hard. It's like a 10-point red arrow from a Haaland brace if you don't captain him. Do you think Bruno reaches 100% EO? No, I think Bruno will sit somewhere between 80 and 90% EO is my prediction. Maybe he could just creep over, but I don't think so. Alexander says, hi Ross, wildcard 0.2 in the bank. Oh, that's a lovely wildcard. Dear Lord, what is your team value? That is you must have like 106, 117 value to get that team, I think. I'm trying to think how you've afforded that. I guess you've got Anderson in there as opposed to like a Rodgers, but that is a cracking team. Really, really nice team, Alex. Yeah, I love that wildcard. And I love the Haaland, João Pedro, Evan Nilsson front three. I've not really seen many people go for that, so yeah, it's nice. Captain Eden Hazard or Alexis Sanchez this week. Do you know what? We don't have enough like proper ballers in the Premier League anymore. You know, like players like Matheus Cunha, I think, is a good example. I'm not saying just players that are good at football, but you know, like, who's a good example? Eden Hazard, Alexis Sanchez are. I'm even going to put out a name here. Maybe even like a Moussa Dembele, you know? Like ball carriers, just players like Turat, if you watch the Premier League for a while. QPR Turat. We're talking... Who's another player? Nah, Verts isn't it. That's not what I mean. Verts isn't what I mean. It's not the same sort of player. Ben Arthur, yes. Hatem Ben Arthur. 100%. That's a great shout. Yeah, Hatem Ben Arthur. Adel Turat. Moussa Dembele. Payet, yes. Dimitri Payet. Prime Balassi, exactly. Yes, Iliman Ndiaye is what I mean. Players like that where they just sort of grab the game. Yeah, you guys have got the idea. We also need more ball strikers like Suarez, potentially. Dimitri Payet, man. Oh, what a player. What a player. Do you know what? That free kick, if I wouldn't get done for copyright, I would bring that free kick up and watch it. Who was the free kick against? I need to rack my brain here. You know the free kick I mean, when it looks like he sent the ball to the sky, and then this ball just goes, just dips in the far corner. What was that free kick I'm talking about, guys? You know the one. Thiago to Evan Nilsson. Mini league leader has Thiago in a 20-point lead. Yeah, I don't mind differentiating and going Evan Nilsson or João Pedro then, for sure. It was against Palace. Yes, that's the one. Oh my goodness, that was a crazy one. Yeah, the free kick against Man United was banging as well. Michu. Yeah, Michu. Michu was a baller. Michu just came from nowhere, man, and then just left. You know, players just come and go like that. I love it when there's just a player just comes in, tears up the Prem. Rafinha, yeah. To be fair, when Rafinha was at Leeds, I always rated Rafinha higher than anyone else, like other than Leeds fans. Like, if you watched my content, when Rafinha was in the Premier League, I captained him on multiple occasions. But I didn't realise just how good Rafinha was. It's incredible what he's done at Barcelona. Is Dubravka, Stack, Chow and Ronaldo a bench boost? No, not at all. Not for me, at least. I mean, famous last words, but no. Hi, Ross, wildcard. Okay, I've got your team, Ben. Rate it out of 10. Love the front three. Solid midfield. Yeah, I would go like maybe... It feels like you should have some money in the bank. If you've not got money in the bank, Oh, you've got Palmer. I was looking at the team, I missed the Palmer part, and I was like, where's all the money gone? It's gone on Palmer. I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10, because I just think you've got Anderson and Krupi and Hill and Richards and Yorkie. You've had to go quite cheap in like 5 or 6 places because of Palmer. So I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10, because listen, if Palmer pops off, it's a banging wildcard. Most wildcards don't even have Palmer in, but that would be my major concern. Discover with Sim says, Mateus Nunes, Ballard, Gabriel Chalobah. I'm torn on 3 hit defenders. Want to go with 3, but don't like Wolves matchup as I think Arukadari, and Mane go ham. Yeah, that's fine. I think it's Ballard, Gabriel Chalobah. I think Ballard's a great shout on 3 hit. I think Ballard, Gabriel Chalobah's nice. Sell Hall, have 5.5 in the bank. Cash Senesi or other. Senesi. Hi Ross, wildcard active, Sanchez, Dubravka, Gabriel, Timber, Munoz, Mukiele, Senesi, Bruno Cap, Enzo Rice, and Giant Burmo, Robot, Krupi, João Pedro. Thoughts? Currently really low rank. Should I go against Haaland? Aim is top 1 million. If you're ranked 4 million, yeah, I would sell Haaland. I really would. You're not going to probably make up the rank anyway, but if you want a fighting chance, you've got to do something super different with that team. You should get Palmer in there. You should get Saka in there. You should beef up the rest of the team. But I mean, it is still possible owning Haaland to still do well. Is it a -8 worth doing to save the wild card? If the -8 makes your team literally a wild card, yes. If you take a -8 and you're still on the back foot, then no. MN Chuckster says, final wildcard team. Okay, I've got you. Sanchez, Dubravka, good. Timber, Gabriel, Munoz, Anderson, Ronaldo. Enzo, Bruno, Rice, Rogers, Anderson, Haaland, João Pedro, Krupi. Can't get Hill. Team value is terrible. Hill's 3.9. Is Ronaldo 3.8 then? Okay. Okay, hear me out. Hear me out here. I would do Anderson to Dewsbury Hall, and I would get Alderete for Ronaldo, and I think that's better. Dewsbury Hall at Alderete is better than Anderson and Ronaldo for me. That would then mean, though, that I'd then probably start Alderete ahead of all of your other options, because Alderete's got Burnley at home. That's just my opinion. That's what I would do, MN Chuckster. But otherwise, if you don't want to do that, your team looks really good. And bloody hell, mate, if you don't start getting green arrows soon, I'm going to think you're cursed. Captain Semenyo over Haaland. I don't mind it. Play Stack or Minte. Probably Yankuba. People are underestimating the Hammers. The players are literally fighting for their Premiership livelihoods. Yeah, but you can say that about any team that's ever in the relegation battle. That teams, just because they're in the relegation battle, don't suddenly start being better. Otherwise, teams would never get relegated, or teams would have like loads of points. Like, they're in the relegation fight because they are not good enough. So, listen, I'm not saying that West Ham can't get something against Chelsea, but I don't think just because they're fighting for it gives them any more or a significant enough advantage. Dylan says, Senesi and Wilson or Richards and Enzo already have Palmer. I mean, the answer is Senesi and Enzo, isn't it? But that's not an option. I think the stronger pairing is probably Richards and Enzo there. Also, would you bench boost Kelleher, Mane, Krupi, and Alderete, or save for a later game week? I would be tempted to just... Yeah, I'd be tempted to bench boost that. Yeah, I don't hate that as a bench boost, to be fair. One of Mane or Krupi grab a goal, Alderete clean sheet, Kelleher makes some saves. I think that could go okay for you. I don't think it's the strongest bench in the world, so you could definitely keep it, but I wouldn't mind playing it. Cheers, Ross. Why keep Haaland moving forward if we're not going to trust him with the captaincy? Isn't the money better spent elsewhere? Good luck this game week. Thank you very much. Listen, it's not that I don't trust Haaland with captain. I'm just looking for alternatives. But if I go back to the EO conversation we were having, if I sell Haaland, I go from losing 75% of his points to like 175% of his points. At that point then, if Haaland gets a 13-pointer, I'm losing over 20 points from Haaland alone. Do you know how difficult it is to make up 20 points in a week? Like, Haaland going big if you don't own him is just catastrophic. Now, again, if you're super chasing, like you are really in the depths of the millions, then I can get it. Or if you just want to do it to have fun. But just because you're not captaining Haaland, I don't think means you should sell him. Why don't we get ballers like Torres anymore? Torres. Fernando Torres. Yeah, I agree. Fernando Torres before the Chelsea move, although he did some okay things for Chelsea. But yeah, Torres was unbelievable. Exactly. Torres, Suarez. Like, where are these strikers? I struggle to think of many number 9s in Europe that remind me of a Suarez or a Torres or a... I don't even know. And then, but you just don't get that many unique strikers anymore. Even like Dimitar Berbatov. Like, forwards are just a bit meh now, aren't they? I will say, Sesko, if you're a Man United fan, Sesko's been fantastic recently. Every time he's on the pitch. Isak before Liverpool. Yeah, true. Before Liverpool, I agree. All about pace and power now. Yeah, it's all like Gyökeres, Haaland, just like running a straight line. I'm obviously Haaland's unbelievable, but it's more like stylistically, I miss it, you know. Tarkowski, Krupi, and Njai to start. Or Njai to start. You can only start one of those. I'd probably start Iliman, Njai. Hi, Russ. Love the content. Wildcard, please. Rate out of 10. Okay. Saar, Dubravka, Munoz, Chalobah, Gabriel, Anderson, Senesi, and Burma, Enzo, Bruno, Rice, Semenyo, Haaland, Pedro, Mane. I would give it... I'm going to give it a 9. The only reason it's not higher is I just think Saar and Dubravka as a goalkeeper pairing is very weak. So I would just about lean towards a 9 as opposed to 9.5 because the rest of it is absolutely spot on. Munak says, Raya, Gabriel, the Cav, get your team. -8 taken, but saving the wild card. Is it worth it? You've taken a -8, and you still have Van Dijk, Dorgu, Raul Jimenez. I would probably... Rodgers, Enzo, Bruno, Wilson. You've got no Rice. I'd probably wildcard. Because I think I would still make an additional 4 or maybe 5 changes to that team. And I think if I would make 5 more changes and you've taken a -8, the -8 hasn't really perfectly sorted or set up your team. So yeah, I would just about lean wildcard, mate. But if you want to just stick with the hit and you like the way your team looks, then maybe leave it. Waldo Wallace says, hello, Ross, on wildcard. Okay, I've got your team, Waldo. Goalkeeper, perfect. Defense, perfect. Midfield, perfect. I'd give that a 9.8, Waldo Wallace. That's basically the best midfield. Best midfield? Well, it is, but I mean, that's basically the best team you can build on a wildcard. You must have really good team value again. I wouldn't get close to being able to afford that on a wildcard. Start 2 of João Pedro, Thiago, Rodgers. I would probably bench Thiago there. What would you change on wildcard, says Mab. Okay, I've got your team. Saliba's the only one that stands out to me there that I don't know if I would have. But then I don't think Saliba's a bad option at all. It's just a bit boring, isn't it? He'll probably score now that I've said that. But I think probably Saliba would be the one thing that I'd maybe look at. But it's not It's not a huge change. Dorgu to Timber or Cherky to Embermo? I think Dorgu to Timber's a bigger priority and upgrade. Harrison says, any tweaks to my final wildcard? Okay, I got your team, Harrison. Okay, again, defense great, goalkeeper's great, midfield excellent. In fact, is that not the same team that I just said I gave a 9.8 to? I'm just looking what the differences between them are. I mean, they are virtually identical. Like that midfield, Fernandez, Embermo, Enzo, Rogers, Rice. If you send me a wildcard team with that and Gabriel, Timber, Senesi, and a decent other couple of defenders, it's again a 9.8 Harrison. That's just, it's a very template wildcard, but that is not a bad thing. It's really not. Because again, it's template for those that are wildcarding and for those that are engaged in FPL and for those that watch content creators. So it's template amongst a very niche set of people. So it's still going to be very differential as a 15. Thoughts on Semenyo captain? Yeah, I don't mind Semenyo captain. Don't mind it. I'm not blown away by it, but I certainly don't mind it. Hello, mate. 3 free transfer moves currently are Ekatike to Mane. Okay, I like it. To free up the funds for Kroopy, and Foden to Bruno, and Garner to Rogers. Is Haaland safer captain than Bruno? Haaland's definitely a safer captain than Bruno. Yes, 100%. Just due to ownership alone, but also his output is unbelievable, isn't it? I like the moves. Yeah, I have no issue with selling Garner, Ekatike, or Foden. I do think Ekatike could do okay this week, but obviously you need to free up the money. So, Polkit has been a member for 48 months, 4 years. What a legend! Thank you so much, my friend. 4 years is crazy. Sanchez, Gabriel, Mukiele, Senesi, Anderson, Saka, Bruno, Rice, Erling Haaland, Ekatike, Thiago. Yeah, banging team. Bench of Dubravka, Keane, Xhaka, Dorgu. 1 free transfer, 0.7 million, 505k, tips, rolling. My only issue with rolling is you've got no bench, but maybe you won't need it. I think your next transfer should probably be a defender transfer. So I think selling Keane or Dorgu would be nice, maybe to Chalobah. And I also think you'll have to probably sell Granit Xhaka unless you can continue to bench him, because it sounds like he'll be out for a few weeks. Greetings from Turkey, Ross. Big love. Fun fact for people that do not know, I'm just going to drop some Geoguessr knowledge for you. Turkey are the only country in Europe not to use the word stop on their stop sign. Does anyone know what Turkey put on their stop sign instead? In fact, even Russia and the Cyrillic-speaking countries also use stop on their stop signs. Does anyone know what Turkey say on their stop signs? Yes, exactly. Duh. Duh. Is duh. D-U-R. Very strange, though. You know? I guess it's if you technically class Turkey as being in Europe. I mean, I'm not going to get into debate about which countries are and aren't in Europe, but anyway, Turkey's, in that part of the world at least, the only one that doesn't say stop. What does duh mean? I assume it means what? I assume it means stop in Turkish. What does duh mean in Turkish? I assume it's just stop. It means shh. No. They've done it the wrong way. No, Google, why would I mean that way? Yeah, it does just mean stop in Turkish. Okay. You would imagine so anyway, wouldn't you? Imagine it doesn't. Imagine it just means something completely different. They are in the Euros, so they're European, no? I've seen a few Turkish people claim that, I mean, we're not getting into a geography thing here, but is Turkey in Europe? Apparently, according to this, 3%, I'll copy this in for you if you wanted to know. Apparently, 3% of the country is in Europe and 97% is in Western Asia. So I guess technically it's more Asia than Europe, which is maybe why they don't say stop on their stop signs. Because if you go to Asia, obviously they've all got their own languages. And they none of them say stop. Anyway, sorry, I didn't even... Did I read your question? I just started hyperfixating on Turkey. How good are Maguire and Ndiaye's FPL assets? They're good. I don't think they're sensational. Maguire and Ndiaye or Anderson and Senesi? I really like Senesi. I definitely think Maguire and Njai are more exciting, mate. So yeah, if you want to go for it, I don't mind it. I think Senesi and Njai is probably the better combo. Or Senesi and Dewsbury Hall. I wonder if that's the combo. Senesi and Dewsbury Hall. Probably is, to be honest. Keen Cherky to Richards Bruno for a -4 roll. Keen Cherky to Richards Bruno for a -4 roll. If you're going to captain Bruno Fernandes, I would do it. Otherwise, I'd roll. Hull United says, wildcard team. Okay, I've got your team. I love it. Yeah, only concerns. I don't know if I'd have Kelleher on a wildcard. I don't know if I'd have Calvert-Lewin on a wildcard. And I probably wouldn't have Wilson. But I don't mind Wilson as a pick. So Wilson, Calvert-Lewin, and Kelleher are the three that I would probably change. But the team is looking really good. Khan, good to see you, says, should I take hits to rectify the team? Used a free transfer for Bruno. No. No. No, absolutely not. Team looks really good. You might have to take a hit at some point in the upcoming game weeks, Khan, but this week, that team certainly doesn't need a hit at all. And you've got money in the bank, so you've got a bit of flexibility moving forward. Enzo Watkins in the starting 11, Chow Anderson first sub. Yeah, I'd have Anderson ahead of Chow, and I think Enzo and Watkins are fine in the 11, yeah. On wildcard, double up on defence from Arsenal and Chelsea. Yeah, like Sanchez, Chalobah, Timber, Gabriel. I looked at that, actually, as a potential wildcard. Double Chelsea, double Arsenal defence. I think it looks nice. I will just say that means you can only get one Chelsea attacker, which might limit you a little bit moving forward. Yak Shottamang has been a member for 15 months. Thank you very much. Go a little rogue and choose Gay and Mukiele over Saliba, Timber, and Alderete. No, I think I prefer Timber and Alderete. Timber and Alderete is definitely my favourite pair there. O'Reilly to Chalobah for a -4. No, not for me. Is it worth freeing up the money so I can go from Saka to Rice? To go from Saka to Rice if I can get Lafitte to Mbeumo or Rodgers next game week? Yes, it is probably worth doing Saka to Rice and Lafitte to Mbeumo next week. Bench Njaya or Krupi? I would start Iliman Njaya because he's definitely on pens. Krupi probably isn't. Bass, good to see you. Says current team. Okay. Verbruggen, Dubravka, Timber, Gabriel, Chalobah, Senesi, Richards, Mbeumo, Bruno, Rice, Wilson, Enzo, Haaland, Krupi, and JP. Doubts about Wilson. What do you think? Doubts about Wilson? Oh, you're doubting Wilson, I assume is what you mean. I like it. It's a good team. Great team. That's a guarantee green arrow, right? Would I include Wilson on a wildcard? Like, it's difficult because it's like, I don't want to just make you go over the wildcard that I would go for. But no, I would not have Wilson on a wildcard. The rest of the team I would have, though. So, listen, you can pick one fun pick that you like. Absolutely. I would, yeah, there are other players that I would probably rather have, though. You completely butchered my name, but I appreciate you trying, Ross. Can you phonetically spell it then? Yak Shottamang. I've just pronounced it as pronounced it as how I'm reading it phonetically, but I would love a phonetic spelling. That'd be great. 30 minutes till the deadline. 30 minutes till the deadline. Is this the final team, Rossi boy? I think so, yeah. Have you wildcarded? No wildcard. -8 to get here. Dubravka, Gabriel, Gay, Van der Ven, Semenyo, Soboslai, Rice, Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Thiago Haaland. Bench boost active to try and make up the -8. Well, I don't know what your bench looks like. But the starting 11 looks decent, yeah. I wouldn't bench boost just to make up the -8. I think that's a bad reason to bench boost. But if the bench looks good, then go for it. Would Darlow be better than Sarr? Can only afford it. No, I would go for Sarr if you're going to go for one or the other. It's just as a pairing, they're not the best. Gatso. Oh, Gatso. Is that it? Or is there more to it? I'll just call you Gatso then. Snow Bombs says rank 4.5 million, 0 in the bank. Is the wildcard team okay? If not, what differentials would you recommend? Dubravka, Pesky. Pesky? Who's Pesky? Pescatarian. Who's the pescatarian here? I actually don't know who that is. Tarkovsky, Gabriel. The chat will tell me, and I'll be like, oh, Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Timber Chalobah, Munoz. Oh, he's probably a goalkeeper. That's why. Okay, he's a goalkeeper. Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Timber Chalobah, Munoz, Bruno Fernandes, Semenyo, Enzo, Rice, Dewsbury Hall, Haaland, João Pedro, Obi. Does it make sense to swap Saka for Bruno Fernandes this week? I like it. What would I do different? I think that's good enough, mate. I don't think you need to go super differential just for the sake of it. I think that's a really nice wildcard team. Is there anything I would change desperately? No. No, I think that's okay. I probably would try and get Timber instead of Tarkovsky, but I don't know how you'd free up the funds to do so. So maybe just leave it like that. Spooky MB says, hello, Ross. Wildcard. Okay. Roofs, Dubravka, Timber, Gabriel, Hill, Chalobah, Gay, Rice, and Burmo, Fernandes, and Jaya, Enzo, Krupi, Thiago, Haaland. Lovely. Yeah, really solid team. Really good minutes. Like Rice and Burmo, Fernandes, and Jaya, Enzo, Thiago, Haaland, all really good for minutes. You've got good penalty takers in there as well. Yeah, that's a really solid wildcard. I can't criticize it. Like a 9.3 out of 10. Spooky MB. Tommy says, Guiu to Evan Nilsson or Krupi and funds for Palmer next game week. I'd go Krupi then. Leave yourself open. If you don't buy Palmer, you could still do something else with that money. So if you're happy to go Krupi, I'd probably go that way. Taking your advice for the wildcard, Raya, Gabriel, Chalobah, Alderete, Senesi, Van Hecke, Rice, Rogers, Semenyo, Enzo, Bruno, Haaland, Mane, Evan Nilsson. What's your advice? That's a lovely team. I don't love Van Hecke as a pick. I think you could do a lot better than Van Hecke. I'd even go Richards ahead of Van Hecke. I think it's a slightly nicer pick. Midfield's good. No concerns with the midfield. A forward line's great. I think that's a brilliant team. Literally one player. But I mean, I don't think necessarily Richards is that much better than Van Hecke, so you could just keep the team exactly as it is, Munak. Adrian says, please help. Okay, I've got your team, Adrian. 2.3 in the bank. Team looks good, mate. Rogers, Saka, Semenyo, Garner, Enzo, Gabriel, Timber, Senesi, Decoy, Pro, Riley. I don't know how many transfers you have. You've not really got an easy route to Bruno, have you? I wonder about... I would roll the transfer. I don't think there's a transfer there to me that massively upgrades your team this week. I think get some transfers built up, Adrian, and then I would try and find a way to get Garner to Bruno Fernandes. Probably, you know what? Probably next week. I mean, you could do it this week, actually. Okay, I changed my mind. Adrian, if you have the free transfers this week and the funds that you can do Raul Jimenez down to Krupi and do Garner to Bruno, I would do it. If you can't afford that, I can't work out the money, then I would roll and try and get that sort of thing done next week with a few transfers. Bernardo says, I have BF8. Oh, Bruno Fernandes, Rice, Enzo, Wilson. Cunha to Mbermo for a -4. No, I would just keep Cunha. Khan says 2 things. I love your content. Absolutely the best out there too. Continue being you. And yes, it is very helpful to have a detailed response. Sometimes all we need is the validation, clarity of thought, or just rationalization. Thank you so much, Khan. And thank you, as always, for the support. You're very, very kind. And I'm glad that I can be a little bit helpful. Sometimes my advice is going to be terrible, by the way. Often it will be. But all I'm doing is giving my opinion. As long as people accept that when they ask my opinion, it is just an opinion. I can't predict the future. Then we'll all be good. Hello, Raptor. Is it better to sell Ekatike or Thiago this week to free up funds? I don't love selling either, but I do think selling Ekatike makes more sense. Due to his price, due to his lack of pens, due to the absence of minutes at points, I think Thiago's a better long-term asset. Why Rice over Semenyo? Semenyo is nailed / more upside. Semenyo is not nailed. His minutes are good at the moment, but he's not nailed. He's also got lower floor than Rice. Rice has a probable double coming up in 26. And Rice also has multiple routes to point. So I just think Rice is a better pick than Semenyo for me. Maybe, again, his ceiling isn't as high, though. So if you're chasing ceiling, maybe you go elsewhere. Got 10 million to spend for a main goalkeeper and a 5th defender. Who should I take? Doubts on Richards as Palace haven't had a clean sheet in a bit. A 5th defender should be Alderete, I think. I like Alderete a lot, which would leave you 5.9 million for a goalkeeper, which you don't really need to then spend. But I would probably say Sanchez and Alderete and then keep the money in the bank. Start 2 of Sharda, Tarkovsky, Garner, Krupi Jr. Start 2 of those. Probably Sharda and Tarkovsky. 3 free transfers, Miley, Foden and Ekatike to Enzo and Burmo and JP. Yep, I'd be happy to do that, Ariel. Start Thiago or Wilson. I would just about lean the penalty taker. Quite a few people have asked me Thiago versus Wilson. I think Wilson from open play arguably is the better asset, and he's a midfielder. But I just think Thiago could get a pen of 9 points, so I would lean that way. But if you don't want to bank on that and you want to just trust open play threat, at the moment Wilson's been really good. Start Maguire or Hall. Maguire. Bruno or Evan Nilsson captain. Bruno for me, yeah, Bruno for me. Mane or Krupi need long-term, thanks Ross. Long-term, you'd imagine Mane's minutes are better. If you want to go shorter term and you want to maybe chase the upside, I think the upside is more there with Krupi. You have got just over 20 minutes till the deadline. Have I got a screenshot of my team? I should probably check. Don't know if I do. Chat, do you think I've got my benching decisions correct? Let me just run a. I'll run a captaincy poll for a while, so I'll end that now. 62% of people. We've had 7,000 votes. 62% of people are captaining Bruno Fernandes. 29% of people are captaining Erling Haaland. 4% Gabriel, and then 5% other. FPL Pickle says, "What shall we have for lunch?" Your guess is as good as mine, Pickle. I don't know. Whatever you fancy, my dear. Whatever you fancy, my sweet pea. Guys, if you want to know how to get ahead in life, just whenever your partner, just say whatever you want, sweet pea. Who would you start? Krupi or Garner? I'm really worried Garner's going to get like a single assist and like bench. I have watched the whole stream, by the way. Oh, that's very sweet. Krupi versus Wolves, Garner versus Brighton. Who would you start? I just worry, like, for me, the issue with Garner is if he gets a single assist, he's getting bonus and he'll get DEFCON. Like, Garner with 1 assist is probably getting an 8 or 9 pointer. So I need Garner to blank, really, and Krupi to score. If I say that to my girlfriend, she would say, "What have you done now?" Meow Meow is eating. Oh, the cat is eating. That's good. The cat's not really been eating too much, so we're glad. To be fair, I did give her some tuna yesterday, which she chomped on, so. I have 3 transfers, and my defense is weak. Chow, O'Reilly, Timber, Warete, Esteve. That is a weak defense, yep. I have 0.9 in the bank. What do you suggest? Roll or make a transfer, and for who? I think you need to free up the money to do Nico, O'Reilly, or Chow to Gabriel, and I think that's urgent. So I would use a transfer in your attack to downgrade someone to bump up O'Reilly or Chow to Gabriel. I think you need to do that this week. Got Watkins, was going to bench boost. Should I take a -4 to Pedro? Sorry. Got Watkins, was going to bench boost. Should I take a -4 to Pedro and bench boost to Bravka, Mukiele, Cunha, and Dallo, or save the bench boost and don't take the -4? Oh, that's so tough. I would arguably, I would say your 2 options are save the bench boost and don't take the -4, or just bench boost and hope that Watkins starts. That's a banging bench. Like the fact that you're having to bench Mukiele, Cunha, and Dallo, I would lean towards still bench boosting, but obviously if Watkins doesn't feature, that's tough. I just don't like taking a hit for a bench boost. 2 free transfers have Bruno, Foden to Mbeumo. Yeah, I would do Foden to Mbeumo. Play 2 of Gordon, Richards, and Van Dijk. Probably Richards. No, Gordon's on pens, isn't he? Gordon and Maybe Gordon and Van Dijk. I know they sort of clash, but Van Dijk is just better than Richards. And I think Gordon's... But I would say Gordon and Van Dijk. Mark says wildcard. Okay, I've got your wildcard team, Mark. Dubrovnik. Dubravka. I don't know if that's autocorrect or if you just called Dubravka Dubrovnik, but that's funny. Maguire, Gabriel, Chalobah. Great team. Yeah, lovely, man. Lovely. Like, I'm jealous of the wildcards this week. Mark, that's a really nice team. Again, I probably wouldn't have Harry Wilson on a wildcard, but that's just personal preference. Start Jimenez or Enzo Lafie. I've got to say my boy Enzo Lafie. 73% of you agree that you would start Kroupy. Are you sure that Kroupy starts now with Bournemouth's new signings and Evan Nilsson back fit? With Evan Nilsson back fit? Where have you been? Evan Nilsson's been back fit for a long, long time. With the new signings, long term, I'm not. I would be surprised if he buys this guy and starts him after a few days of training ahead of Kroupy. Like, that is peak for Kroupy, if that's the case. So I think Kroupy will play 60 to 70 minutes, and I guess I have to hope that it's over 60, and I have to hope that he scores a goal. But yes, I absolutely think there is a chance that in the future, Kroupy does lose his place in the starting 11. Hincapié to Maguire or Gordon to Gibbs-White / Rogers. Ooh, I like Gordon to Rogers. Start Thiago or Maguire. Thiago. Is York Anderson a bit overrated? Many at the same price have been better throughout the season, and matches forwards going forwards aren't really that great either. I don't think, maybe marginally overrated. Yeah, the thing is, when most content creators and people that give advice make decisions, we don't really make it based on past points. So I don't really know how many points Anderson's got. What I am looking at is Defcon. So he's getting 2 points a lot. He does have some attacking threat, as evidenced by the assist there. And like goal threat wise as well, he's probably had like, I think 2 or 3 big chances this season. And Fulham aren't a bad defence. So if I look at the underlying data, it's decent. I look at Defcon potential, it's decent. The fixtures you say aren't great. I would also argue that they're definitely not bad. This isn't a bad run of fixtures at all. The only ones you won't want to play him for is City away and Liverpool away. So I don't know. Is he overrated? Maybe. Is he a bad option though? Certainly not. I guess there's an absence of other cheap, good defenders, to be honest, that also have good fixtures. Because you could say Sunderland, but Sunderland have some tough fixtures coming up. Start 2 of Thiago, Foden, Senesi, and Mane. Thiago and Foden. Just. Hello, mate. Bruno or Haaland cap? I'm so indecisive. If you're indecisive, my advice, if you don't own a physical coin anymore, you can do a virtual coin flip. But the idea behind it is that you will have a gut feeling. Even if you don't feel like you have a gut feeling, you'll have a gut feeling. So what you do is you flip a coin, and in midair, the first way you can do it is in midair as you're flipping it or whilst you're waiting, you think you'll naturally be thinking, I hope it's this one. If you don't do that when it's in midair, then what you do is you wait for it to show heads or you wait for it to show tails. And if, as it shows heads, you feel it's not going to be an obvious emotion, but it's like a micro emotion. If you feel like a micro emotion of relief, that means you wanted to do that. And if you feel like you kind of want to flip again, do best of 3, then that probably means you don't want that. Now, sometimes this won't work, but most of the time it will give you an indication of what your gut feeling is. There's a lot of psychological research into it, but I like it as a tip. Hi, Ross. Did Saka, Foden to Bruno and Burmo for free? Nice. Is it worth doing O'Reilly to Chalobah Munoz for a -4 to bench Van Dijk or just leave Van Dijk in? I would just play Van Dijk. You could even play O'Reilly if you wanted to, but no, I don't think that's worth a -4. Bench 1 of Alderete, Garner, Elf, DCL. Calvert-Lewin. FPL Mint, thank you for the very generous super chat. Says, hello, Ross. Hope you're doing well. I have 2.9 million in the bank. Do you think Dorgu to Senesi and Hall to Enzo are good transfers? Hall to Enzo? And my midfield is Bruno, Saka, Anderson, Wilson, Hall. Have I? Can you reply to your super chat, FPL Mint? Hall midfield. Is there another Hall in midfield, or have I just gone like... Let me just double check there's not a Hall midfielder. No, there's not. So what are you saying then? Who have you got confused here? Can you reply to your message? Is that possible? You should be able to reply to it as like a comment and explain what you mean instead, and I'll come back to it in a second. Eric says, Keane, Saka, Verts, Foden, and King to Enzo, Bruno, Rogers, Rice, and Alderete for a -4. I don't think I would sell Verts, and I don't think I'd sell Saka, personally. I wonder about Keane to Alderete and Foden to Bruno. Can you afford that? That would probably be more what I would be up for. Listen, as a set of moves, I much prefer the second combination of moves, but I don't love... Yeah, I don't love selling Saka and Verts this week, personally. Or Foden, King, Ekatike to Bruno, Enzo, Kripke. Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, maybe that one. Foden, King, Ekatike to Bruno, Enzo, and Kripke for free. Yeah, I probably prefer that option. Oh, Dewsbury Hall. I'm so sorry. That's my bad. I should have thought about that. Yeah, I should have thought about that. It's because I always say Dewsbury Hall. I didn't even think about the fact that he had Hall in his name. Okay, right. I can get back on this. Do you think Dorgu to Senesi and Dewsbury Hall to Enzo are good transfers? I don't love selling Dewsbury Hall, mate. Really. I think I'd prefer to sell Anderson. Maybe not. I guess if you've got Anderson or Hall, it doesn't matter which one you sell. I like those moves. Dorgu to Senesi in particular, I think, is an excellent transfer. So you've got the big thumbs up for Dorgu to Senesi. And then, yeah, I suppose selling one of Anderson and Hall to Enzo Fernandez makes sense. We got there in the end, and yeah, I don't mind it. I just think Dewsbury Hall's a really nice option. Yeah, I don't know why my brain didn't think of Dewsbury Hall. That's my bad. Hi, Ross. Thank you for your help before. You are more than welcome. I really appreciate it. I was the 4.5 million wildcard team, yeah? Which three would you bench between Tarkovsky, Timber, Munoz, KDH, and JP? So, as much as I think João Pedro could be benched, considering your rank and your chasing, you start João Pedro, you start Timber. I want you need to bench three of those. I think you certainly bench Tarkovsky and Dewsbury Hall. Do you know what? Maybe because you're chasing, and I wouldn't normally recommend this, but maybe bench Timber and hope that Arsenal concede. Maybe start Munoz and João Pedro. They're the two differentials. They're two with really high upside, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But I think you've got to do something slightly different at this stage. So yeah, I'd lean that way. Posh has been a member for 35 months. Thank you very much. Hello, Ross. It's Jish. Jish, remind me where in India you're from. Again, I've been playing a lot of Geoguessr recently. I think I've asked you this before, but where in India? Yeah, I've been playing loads. I don't actually, obviously, I've not been to India, but I know most parts of India now. Start Kripke or Wilson? I would start Wilson. My defense is Gabriel, Chalobah, Senesi, Keane, Anderson. Is it worth a -4 to do Keane to Timber, or I can wait a week? Gabriel, Chalobah. No, leave it. Gabriel, Chalobah, Senesi are brilliant, and you've got Anderson. You definitely don't need to make that move this week. So I would start Wilson and not take the -4. Bangalore. Yes, you did say that before. Okay, Bangalore. Very nice. Big love to anyone watching from India. I think like 4% of the people that watch the streams and stuff are from India. Most people are from the UK, of course. Any news on Watkins' injury? No, just that he had a scan. It wasn't serious, and there's a chance that he's fit for this weekend. I don't know if he actually will be or not, but at least it's not serious. So you probably don't need to sell Watkins now. Bench one of Mukiele, Gay, Tarkovsky, Wilson, or Thiago. Bench one. Probably Mark Gay. Colombo says, good luck today, Ross. Thanks for all of your help. Big love. Big love to you as well. Thank you for the very generous super chat, and you are so very welcome. Glad I could help. That is what I'm here for. I'm here to help. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll do the opposite of help, but I'm trying. That's the main thing. Start Alderete or Anderson. Definitely Alderete, yeah. 100%. I think Alderete is due a big score. Alderete is due a 15-pointer, because Mukiele's the one that keeps doing it. Alderete is due that big boy score, and I could see it happening soon, so I like him. Who's the best player from India? What, FPL? Or are you asking football? Best FPL player from India? That lives in India? Do they have to live in India? I mean, I'd just give a shout out to the FPL Wire in all fairness. All three of them are extremely good FPL managers in their own right. Also very different FPL managers as well. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Praz doesn't live in India though, does he? But I guess Praz would be the correct answer. Probably statistically could even be late riser with these couple of insane finishes. If we're doing average rank, it's Praz. If we're doing like peaks, like late risers had a couple of crazy finishes. You know it's a crazy season when you look at Praz's rank. I think Praz is ranked like 1.7 million, which is like, I don't think people realize how good Praz is at FPL. I've had the pleasure of being able to talk to Praz one-on-one about FPL quite a few times. And you know when you speak to someone that's intelligent and you just think you are so much more intelligent than I am. When I listen to Praz talk about FPL, I'm just like, yes, you make so much sense. So the fact that he's 1.7 million or whatever he is shows how crazy this season has been. Krupi or Wilson, start one. I would start Wilson, personally. Hello, Raptor. Another Saturday that we spend together instead of enjoying the sun. When you put it like that, yeah. Would you start Dewsbury Hall or Mane? Ooh, I tell you what, I would be so tempted to start Mane in a game like this, but I think Dewsbury Hall's the better asset. So I would go Dewsbury Hall, but if you're telling me you've got a bit of a gut feeling about Mane, I would say go for it. Like, it's the sort of game he could do well. Tempted on Munoz over Chalobah. Palace are better away. You're not picking them for 1 week, though, are you? But I really like Munoz, so I don't have an issue with making that choice. But don't pick just based on 1 week, unless you're on a free hit, of course. Bench one of Krupi, Ekatike, Enzo, or Rice. Krupi. Got the same defence as you, same midfield, but have Foden instead of Fernandes. Haaland, Thiago, and Rao up top. 0.2. What would you recommend? If you have 2 free transfers to use, I would sell Rao and buy Fernandes for Foden. Not to make your team like mine, but Fernandes over Foden is a massive, on paper, advantage. And I don't know that you necessarily need Rao moving forward. So if you have 2 free transfers, that. If not, wait 1 week and buy Bruno next week. Start Garner, Igor Jesus, or Wilson. Play Hall and Roll or buy Senesi for Dorgu, no cover. If it's for free, I would buy Senesi for Dorgu. If it's for a hit, I would just play Hall. You have got just under 7 minutes till the deadline. Start Laffy or Krupi? I would go Enzo Laffy, I think. Kaboom. Any team leaks? No, not yet. Let me have a check through Twitter because I've not really been paying attention to Twitter so far on the stream. No. Who are even at the 3 p.m. games that we'd want a team league from? Let me have a quick look. Arsenal would be useful, I suppose. Chelsea are at 5:30. It's really, maybe Bournemouth would be good to know creepy starts, but I don't think we're going to get a Bournemouth team league. So who do I have then? I have in the 3 p.m.s Saka, Timber, Gabriel, Verbruggen, and Krupi. Yeah, I've got quite a lot of players, actually, haven't I, in the 3 p.m.s? That's a lot more than some other people. Is Keane starting? Oh, Keane would be a good one, I suppose, yeah. I don't know. I would guess no. My prediction would be no, but I couldn't rule it out, I suppose. I'm just seeing if I can find anything. No, I don't think we're going to find anything out, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's 50-50. He could absolutely start, but unless you've got good backup, maybe not worth risking it. Should I get Tammy Abraham? I think it's a bit early. I meant bench Chalobah for Munoz. Yeah, I don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind that, Richard. I mean, I'd want to start both, but I'm assuming you've got a benching headache. But if you can only play one, I don't mind chasing the upside with Munoz. Start Cash Njaya or Richards. Also have Verbruggen and Thiago. I'd still start Iliman Njaya, I think. Start one of Ronaldo, Krupi, Anderson. I'd probably start Elliot Anderson. Bench one of Cherky. Bench one of Cherky, Verts, Krupi, or Wilson. Probably Krupi. Foden replacement, 8.5 max. Have Bruno, Saka, Enzo. It's Brian Mbeumo or Rogers. Rogers better for minutes. And Mbeumo maybe a slightly higher upside. So I would probably lean Brian Mbeumo, but I like Morgan Rogers as well. Hello, Ekatike or João Pedro, Ross. To start, to buy, to sell, to bench. I mean, João Pedro I'd prefer this week just about. The only thing is, João Pedro's got a good chance of being benched this week. Ekatike will start. It's not for free. I can get away with no Fernandez or take a hit. I would just go no Fernandez then, probably, mate. Do you think Ekatike will play? I am convinced, yeah. 100% he starts. Or not 100%. 95% Ekatike starts, I reckon. There is a guy on Instagram who predicts Chelsea teams, and he is 80% of the time right. He also has some sources, and he has Enzo not starting. Yeah, I said it's possible. It's definitely possible. Wouldn't be surprised. I think one of Enzo or João Pedro gets benched. I don't know if both get benched. I mean, it's definitely plausible. What was the name of the account so I can check it or see if I know who it is? You've got a few minutes till the deadline, by the way. Start getting those teams locked in. Start Wilson or Krupi. Still Wilson. Lots of people asking that question, but I would go Harry Wilson. I don't think Krupi's that great, man. Like, I think if you've not got a great other attacker, like I've got Garner, who's not that great anyway, then I would go Krupi. But I think if you're sat there with like Harry Wilson or someone like that, or Thiago, I'd absolutely be playing them ahead of Krupi. Surely not Enzo. I do think Enzo Fernandez and João Pedro are serious risks. CFC news page. His name is Nathan. Also works for Damasio. Okay, fair. We'll see. We shall see. Ross, why is your team not color-coded nicely? I don't really think there was a way to color-code it nicely. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to run the risk of the website crashing. But I didn't really see a way to color-code it nicely this week. There's all sorts of colors and things going on. I don't know. Maybe I could have switched Bruno and Saka. Or maybe had Anderson in the middle of Gabriel and Timber. I don't know. Do you think Vandenberg will start? It depends on Ayer's injury, I suppose. But yeah, probably. Do we have any team leaks? No. And it's a bit late anyway. You've got less than a minute till the deadline. Less than a minute till the deadline. Do people color code their lineups? I thought it was just me. I spend loads of time every single week color coding my lineups, but this week I struggled, you know. I've got all of the blue and white on one side and the red on the other side, but start Watkins or Wilson. I'd probably risk it on Watkins, but I'm not sure. You got 20 seconds. By the time you hear my voice, it's probably deadline because there's a bit of a delay. Start one of Van Hecker, Tarko, Garner. I would start Tarkowski. Chat, start Krupi or Rogers. Would you start Thiago or Ekatike? I would start Ekatike. I color code and then panic buy. Right, there we go. We are donezo. Let me quickly tweak my team and I'll get back to answering your questions. Oh, I need to... Cool. Don't leave, by the way. I'll carry on streaming for a little bit. So make sure to stick around. Deadline is done. I have a bad feeling that Soboslai is going to return again after I've sold him, and Ekatike. Ekatike assists Soboslai goal or something. Can we see the cat now? I can go see what the cat's doing. Ross, why don't you stream other games? I do. I stream Geoguessr sometimes. I don't really game too much, to be honest. Because I just don't have the time. Very important question for you, Ross, as you are an Indian food lover. Chapati, roti, or... I honestly am a naan bread kind of guy. Specifically, I love a Peshwari naan. So, yeah. Is there a cat? Bring me... I was going to say something. Hello, is there a cat?
Oh no, I was trying to get into the bag. I was in your stream, so I was... But what are you doing, you weirdo? Come on.
Come on, cat. You're going to be famous. There's thousands of people watching. I want to see you.
Come on, say hello.
Oh, yeah. Hello. Can I pick you up to say hello?
I thought she might be less keen. We'll see.
Oh, no, Domino, just say hello. Okay, you can go ahead.
Can you put her on the chair?
Yeah, she's on a chair next to me. Look, you look really antisocial then. People wanted to see you. And you look like you were being tortured.
Yeah, she was not feeling it, so I tried to pick her up and she wasn't.
Domino. She was disgusted by my team. I heard her mutter, that's a guaranteed red arrow, under her breath.
She's a bit
Domino, come here. You can get up on my desk, look. I know you want to. You love the desk.
I've just been wondering where you've been.
Come on. Have you missed me? I've been streaming. I've been a busy man. Oh, my laptop is on fire. It's very hot. Yeah, she's not happy with me. Yeah, you go to sleep there. Yeah.
Do you want a drink?
Well, I'll take a picture, guys, so I can show you where she is. I've just got a chair and I put a blanket on it, and she's just sat there on the chair. And sorry, did you ask me a question?
I said, did you want a drink?
No, I've still got a bit of this, thanks.
Oh, okay.
But when I say a bit, quite a lot. I just need to quickly sort my club team out, guys, because I've not sorted out.
There was one account that came up in like Keen Starts, but I didn't want to trust it. So
I reckon he could, to be fair, but it's not worth the
He
risk.
probably will, yeah.
Oh,
well, I'd rather have Chelsea.
Cheeky Geo kind of. I will do a bit of Geoguessr in a second for sure. I just want to. I just need to sort out my club team, to be honest. Not only because they sponsor the deadline streams, but I actually need to sort out I actually need to sort out my team. Oh, you're so beautiful. Yeah, you are. She's gone to sleep. You missed me, didn't you? You did. Right. This is my team as it stands. I've got Cunha and Mbermo because Man United are going to win the league. I've got Florian Wirtz on the bench, which I don't love, but maybe I'll put Wirtz in instead of Zubamendi. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I could see Wirtz scoring. Yeah, okay. Right now I just need to meet with Manny. So, if you're wondering what this is a game called Club, where you basically, it's fantasy football mixed with club ownership. You don't need to know that part for now. What you need to do is guess a player in the Premier League. That's it. You need to get a cat cam. I know. I don't know how I'll do it. Anyway, guess a player from the Premier League. I'll give you 30 seconds while I take a sip of my drink to guess a player. Why did my Chrome die? God, my laptop is like struggling with life. Are we still streaming? Did the stream drop out there, guys? No, I think that's just my Chrome crashed. I got the 404 error message on Chrome. Yeah, why is my laptop that? Not good. My laptop's getting really overheated at the moment. Okay, right. 3, 2, 1, go. I reckon it will be Dewsbury Hall. Rare. Defender, not Dewsbury Hall then. Brighton. 80. Van Hecker. Did we get anyone guess Van Hecker? Surely someone guessed Van Hecker. I don't actually think we got a Van Hecker. No way. Out of all of those guesses. Okay. I'm going to reject. I don't need Van Hecker right now. But if you want to get involved with Club, by the way, we are so close to 3,000 people in the league. It is crazy. There's a link down below. It's completely free to play. As I always say, because I think it helps to know that I'm not just peddling some random game. I am a shareholder within Formation Games, the company that created Club. I am in the game as a character. This is my league, by the way. There are weekly... I didn't even tell you. There are prizes for the top 3 every week. You get thousands of like gems, coins... So worth joining, because if you finish in the top 3 each week, you get prizes. And we're almost at 3,000, which is cool. If you want to join, actually, just join my league and Pickles League, because we're both doing the prizes. This is Pickles code, because then you could technically get both prizes. I mean, it's a bit cheeky, don't get me wrong. But if you join both leagues, my league and Pickles League, then you're in for a winner. But yeah, I'll show you my face. It's always fun. I'm probably like the worst character in the game, though. You know? Anyway. There we go. Right. What am I doing? Right. Hold up. Wait a minute. Why is that like that? I kind of want to stand up as well. Is that going to freak you out, Kat, if I stand up? Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to stand up one sec. No, don't be freaked out. No, you're okay. Don't panic. It's just a standing desk. There we go. Look, you're okay. And I'm going to stand up, so don't get freaked out by that either. Can I go any higher? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Boom. We'll just go for a streak again. Why not? Should I play duels? I could play a duel. I don't know if I want to lose a duel though. I've played 5 games this week and won 4. Look at that. We're on a nice little we won 4 in a row and then I lost my last one. Duel? I could play a duel. Great, why not? Oh, it's NMPZ. Oh, no. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, God, why did I play NMPZ on stream? I mean, you've got to think Brazil with soil that red. It doesn't look like Brazil, though. I worry about Asia here. The soil's so red for Asia, though. I can't think of any part of Asia which would have soil that red. I'll go down here. Probably like down in Sao Paulo, Mato Grosso do Sul. Okay, not half bad. I'll give my opponent a GG. That was a nice guess. Okay, so this is Italy or Greece. We can see a black and white chevron over there. Single white centerline solid. We're in Italy or Greece. My initial thought was maybe Greece, but I don't know about this concrete wall here. I'm wondering about Italy now. Ooh, I think Italy's probably more likely. It just doesn't look like Greece, but I don't know, when I first spawned in, I did think about Greece, but I don't think the single white centre lines is Greek. The road's interesting. The thing is, if it is Italy, I don't think it's the south of Italy. These mountains just don't look Greek. Where are the mountains? The mountains are west of us. West-southwest mountains. West-southwest mountains. I don't know. I'll go somewhere around there. Oh, it was southern Italy. I should have... If I'd have hedged for Italy and Greece. Okay, it was Italy at least. Batan. Crap. I don't know where we are. Trying to work it out here. Philippines. Okay. Oops. Looked like we were driving on the left. Is that Russia or is that Canada? Or is that just Baltic? Baltic? Denmark's possible? Plausible to be Denmark. Denmark, Poland, Baltic. Oh, I don't know. Okay, good guess. It was Lithuania. It looked super Baltic. So, Baltics are very flat. That was the thing that gave it away. It was a very flat round there. That's just probably Philippines, you'd say. My other thought was maybe Indo. Indonesia's possible. It's Indonesia or Philippines. I'll go Philippines, southern. Could be Indonesia. No, Philippines, cool. This is a tough... This person is very good as well, to be fair. So, the concrete roads are much more common in the Philippines. So some Spanish. Driving on the right, Spanish. So is this South America then, or is that Asia? I wondered if Philippines speak a lot of Spanish, but no, I think this is probably Colombia. Possibly Colombia. Don't know. That was a tough one. That's a funny 31 kilometers away. I got the right ridge on the mountains. That's crazy. right. Okay, we got a Vietnamese flag. Creepy starts, that's good. Go around there. GG's, there was it was the palms. I saw like 4 or 5 palm trees, which you just don't see as often in the... Yeah, it should just be Romania, I think. There, yeah, sorry, Romania. There is a possibility it's Hungary, but... Poland's not... Poland's possible, you know. Yeah, this could be Poland, actually. I've gone Poland last second. Oh, it was where I was. I switched last minute. That's a GG's. I switched last minute. It looked like the Polish poll, but it was actually just a Romanian poll. Right, let's have a quick look at the lineups, actually, whilst we're here. What does it look like if I just go full screen Twitter? That's not great, but it will do. Oh, Keane does start. Wow. Keane, Garner, Iliman Njai, Dewsbury Hall, Tarkovsky, all normal. Yep, normal there. Timber, Gabriel, Saka, Rice, as you'd expect. Gyökeres does start, so it'll be interesting to see if Saka does take pens. Senesi, Hill, Creepy starts, which is good. Evan Olsen starts as well. Is Ryan on the bench? Yeah, Ryan's on the bench. Cool. It's pretty standard stuff then, really. Where's the Brighton team? Yeah. Okay. We're on no move now. Is this actually Australia? Or New Zealand? I thought US, but where's the sun? Oh no, the sun is... Okay, is US. It's a really weird round, that. I'm wondering about, like, the Carolinas, potentially. That is the sun. The sun's... Ah, I'm a bit confused. I think I quite like a South Carolina guess here. I'm gonna go there. Oh, bloody hell! Okay, I'm really not great at the US, to be fair. That was Texas. Fair. What's the button for road angle, Ross? Just double tap N, and it will show you the road angle like that. This is a tough start, man. It's probably... Oh, wow. Extremely northern India, okay. Fine. Whatever. Is that the Sonoran, or is that the Baja California cactus? Oh, I did learn all my cacti. That's, I think that's the Sonoran one. Is it the? Oh, I'll go Sonora. I can try and line up the. I'm not going to try and line up the red. I'm just going to go Sonora. Maybe I'm a bit too far. There are hills. I didn't even check the hills. SLP, yeah, SLP's fairly possible. It was much further south than I thought. Okay, fine. It looked like, I'm sure that looked like the cactus you get in Sonora. Jesus, man. This is why I don't play No Move at the moment. So basically, in Geoguessr, the maps work on rotation. This current map is just 90% US rounds. Now, this could be Canada, I suppose. We've got a very north-south road. Sort of fits for the US and Canada, obviously. It is slightly hilly, though. Like, it's not that flat. Which makes me question the Dakotas. I'm going to hedge slightly more. I'm going to go a little bit further south and a little bit over. Oh, would have been better sticking where I was in North Dakota. It just looked a little bit, like, slightly hilly. That's okay. Yeah, it's just hungry, I think. Oh. Yep. Just hungry. Just hungry. I mean, that actually looks Polish. I'm pretty sure this is Hungary, though, but Hungary toward northern Hungary. Why does that look Polish? No, the little thing on the E is only in Hungary, I think. I mean, the languages are very similar, to be fair. I'm pretty sure that is Hungarian, or is that Polish? No, that is Polish, isn't it? That pole isn't a Polish pole, though. That's what's weird, right? That is, that's, the holes go all the way to the ground. That's very weird. I didn't have a chance to find the place, but I would say probably somewhere in the south. The holy poles don't go to the south in Poland, is the rule, but also the top. I guess they're just less holes. Southern Hemisphere. Southern Hemisphere? The hell? Do you know what? I thought this was Oman at first, but... It was Namibia. Oh, that was silly. Oh, I won it. I thought Oman. It looked like Oman, but it was the wrong hemisphere, so it was weird. That was a big boost to the rating. Oh, NMP said. Oh, no. Okay, lock in. Should just be France. I don't know where in France, though. I'm kind of happy going, like, I'll go, like, I don't want to go too far away from Paris, I don't think. Yeah, similar guesses. Okay. Okay. I don't know where I am here. I just had to hedge everything then. Okay, it was Spain. That's fine. I know I guessed in the ocean. I had no idea. It was either Italy, Spain, or Greece in my head, but I wasn't sure. I also thought it could be some of the Balkan countries, so I just guessed in the sea. I think it looks like the US. Looks quite flat again. Big red barns. Maybe makes you want to send slightly further north. It's not that flat though, is it? Maybe Minnesota, like southern Minnesota. Yeah, maybe not as far north. I don't mind like an Iowa, Minnesota kind of guess. Might be a terrible one. I'll go there. Oh, nice. It was actually in the Dakotas, but South Dakota. Okay. We're playing well here. Does that not feel more southern US, I think? I think I got a bit more of a southern US vibe there. Like Alabama, kind of. The architecture here on this house just looks a bit like Alabama, Georgia kind of vibes, I think. This isn't even Geotime, guys. This is NMPZ. Yellow Belly, I think the map is called. Oh. Wow. Fair play. Got slaughtered there. Maybe there was something that gave out those vibes. How did you get Arkansas, Ralph? How did you know that? This just looks like Scotland or Ireland or... Wait, have they got southern Italy? Have I completely messed that up? They're in the south of Italy. I've messed that up then, haven't I? Okay, maybe not. Oh, I should have just gone... It was Wales, okay. Maybe, yeah, maybe it wasn't as far north as I thought. Certainly like the UK though, didn't it? Sign's on the left there, isn't it? Wait, sign on the left? That sign is on the left. We've got to be on a left-hand drive. So a country that drives on the left in the southern hemisphere, because the sun's in the north. That sign's on the left. That sign's on the left. But it's a triangle. Oh my god, my brain's gone. Could that be the truck blur? Is it ever like the outback in Australia? Are these eucalyptus trees right in the distance? I think I'm either thinking Namibia or outback. I don't know. I don't like that guess at all. Oh, God. What a difficult round that was. Oh, my goodness. That was a tough round, that. That was such a 50-50. I'll just play until I lose, which will probably be the next one. It's NMPZ again. I don't mind training up at NMPZ. Double white road lions, probably, yeah, eucalyptus tree. This is Australia. Probably South Australia. Wouldn't mind too far away from Adelaide, in all fairness. Okay, like around here. Oh. What? Why did I say Australia? Were they yellow road lines? What? Did those road lines not look white? I must have just completely zoned out there. I thought they looked white, those road lines. Okay, it's not a great start. This person's guessing quick as well. Quite a hilly part of South Korea. I won't go too far away from the major places. Those road lines looked white. That was crazy. They were white. But can you get... I did not think that in any part of the US you get all white road lines. I'm eating my beard as well. I hate playing against people that guess so quickly. I don't know where we are. It's guessing too quick on an MPZ, I hate. Mexico. Okay, cool. GG. Thank God. I hate playing against people like that. It's unbearable. I get why they do it, because it's so good, but it's like, I need a second to look around. Especially when I'm streaming. I was eating a hair as well. Right. That's sad. We should have just stopped while we were ahead. But we played 9 this week and won 6 of our things, which is it will absolutely take. Right. I love you all very much. I'm going to call it there. Go get some food with the missus. Go say hello to our pussycat. Thank you for joining as always. I appreciate it. I'll go full screen to say goodbye. Where's my full screen? Bang. Oh, the green screen's all over the gaff. Thank you as always. I love you very much. Hope you all get your green arrows in, hopefully, Croupy scores. GW24. I will catch you soon. Bye, guys.